We're live. Hello, welcome to the Cinema Savvy Movie Podcast. I'm Chris Garner, joined with my co-hosts George Aldridge and Tate Niawa. Today we'll be doing a live stream of Man of Steel, if you've seen the title. We really enjoyed doing the Oscars one, and originally this was just going to be a regular review before Batman v Superman, but I think it was you guys who said, why not, let's just do a commentary. And, well, I want to tear this movie a new one, but you two actually really like this movie. So,
yeah, well, I haven't seen it since it was first released, and I don't remember hating on it, because I'm not a hater, Chris.
when it comes to this movie, I have to be a hater. What about you, George? Before going in, can you give some kind of introduction?
At the cinema at the IMAX on the opening day, which I enjoyed thoroughly, the first Superman film I've ever seen, because I hate the character, and I was sold by the words produced by Christopher Nolan. Then I saw it when it came on Blue with my parents, who also liked it. Then I showed my sister, but she also hates Superman, so she didn't care. So I like it. I get the hate, but I'm not with the hate.
Yeah, well, I went to see this for the first time in York, and it wasn't like a big chain cinema. It was really small. It was like watching it on like a 72-inch screen with about like 50 seats in there. It was a really shitty cinema I went to, but I don't know. I saw the trailers for this one. I remember being just emotionally just blown away by the trailers. Maybe it was like the Gladiator and the Lord of the Rings music that was used in it. But and then I saw the movie, and, well, we're about to find out in a minute. So, because I don't like this movie, in an act of defiance, I'm wearing a Batman shirt. So Tate, it's go time, okay? I just want to say that it's been nice knowing you both, but after this we may not be friends and we may never talk to each other again. So this might actually be
let's see how this
Cinema Savvy Civil War. Okay, so... as this is a commentary, we're going to be watching the film from beginning to end, so if you do have your own copy of Man of Steel, get it ready, get it all past the menus, get it timestamp 0, because we're all going to be clicking it in sync. We will be talking and giving you some sync points in case it drifts out of sync or whatever, and we'll do our best to give you enough context in our description of what's going on in case you're just watching it and just listening to us. So, George, Tate, are we good to go?
We are good to go.
Oh, 2.5 hours. Okay, so we'll click on 3. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go.
Just to
Ooh,
check,
drama!
Warner Bros. Yeah, we've all got Warner Bros. Coming up.
Yeah.
In the beautiful opening scene, which Chris has gone upside down.
Well, right from here, I knew what kind of movie I was getting in for, because you can check this colour palette right here on the logos.
But that's the colour palette of the logos.
Yeah.
Well, like the background and everything. It's not the classic. What is it? Oh, who did it? Oh, Richard Donner. That's it. It's not like the classic Richard Donner blue text coming up. This is looking at. Wasn't this the first movie as well that had that updated DC Comics logo?
No, Dino Rises.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Pretty cool logo. Sync copy. There's Nolan's company.
Yeah. So already you can just. Although this is a separate thing to the Nolan Batman movies, this, in all honesty, could have just been a continuation. Okay, are we all having the really awkward...
The subtitles. The subtitles. It's grunting.
Beads of sweat.
Something's just come up there. This is great. Grunts again. Oh my days. Watch this film with subtitles on the Blu-ray, please. It's absolutely brilliant. Grunting again. Should I just read them one out?
Oh, hello, Russell Crowe.
This was the script. It's grunting again.
And this, I guess this goes to show that you can have an actor in a DC property and a Marvel one, because if anyone watches Netflix's Daredevil series, she plays Vanessa, Kingpin's girlfriend. So yeah. Hopefully we can have J.K. Simmons in Spider-Man again, even though he's James
Gunn has just appeared.
Yeah. In a very awkward close-up birthing scene.
Is that Superman?
Hang on, we're getting ready to see Space Cow. Are you ready to see CGI Space Cow? The greatest character in this whole film.
But it looks great. It's another planet.
Dude, that's a turtle. That's totally a turtle.
It's a turtle cow.
Can you guys hear my film?
No, I can't hear it.
Good.
Okay, one thing I do want to say about this film is that I can give it some credit for, because there are some bits of this film, surprisingly, that I do like. I like that we get to see sort of the landscape and the wildlife more of Krypton. I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool to actually see the planet. My one criticism, which I'll bring up in a minute when the planet's sort of going to shit, is that we don't really get a broad scope of civilian life on Krypton. We only really see Jor-El, the Council, and Zod. We don't really get a sense of danger when the planet's blowing up and killing everyone on there.
Spoilers, dude.
Well, this film just went like, okay, everyone knows the backstory of Superman.
I just love this. Just shooting up your government. I really like Zod in this film.
Yeah, Zod's great. Michael Shannon's just fantastic in this movie.
He's just him shouting.
Got to give a shout out for all that headgear though on all of the council members.
They look like
Oh, that is just
Just took
brutal.
that bullet like a champ. I actually really like her character as well. Is it Theora Al? I think she's called, or something like that. I thought she was pretty badass in this movie.
They look like the Time Lords from Doctor Who, don't they? Little head.
Yeah. You can see from this movie as well. I don't know if you can really see it from this shot. You can see it from the establishing shot of the council, but Zack Snyder really used a sort of handheld camera style throughout this film. I don't know whether that really worked for the film, to be honest. I think that it would have looked better if it was,
yeah.
It works for the fights when it's intense and close, but not for bog standard stuff.
Mm.
But I love that Russell Crowe is just like the walking. Oh, I forgot the word. It will come back to me later.
I actually do like the armor on the characters as well. Like how they've got like the family crests on their chest plate. I think that's a really cool idea. One thing I don't get is those like all the tech on Krypton. It's like those, I don't know what they're called, but you know those like pin things that you used to have that you used to put your hand in or your face into.
Yeah.
They all look like that, and I never quite understand why.
That's another fact that Russell Crowe's gone from being.
Oh, nice action.
Oh, get used to that. Oh boy, get used to that.
They confirmed.
I also like the computer thing, not gonna lie.
Ooh, the effects on that have not held up well, have they?
This was a great shot of this.
Oh wow, Jupiter ascending.
Hang on, get ready. We're about to enter into Avatar with this little flying dragonfly thing.
But you get the great Hans Zimmer score that I think
All of the drums.
Oscar for best. Should have been nominated for soundtrack.
You know what? I don't get why Jor-El couldn't have gotten like a spaceship or something here, make it really sci-fi. He just jumps on the back of little Avatar dragon.
That isn't a little avatar dragon, that's a big avatar dragon.
It looks more like a moth.
Yeah.
Just make sure he doesn't eat your clothes.
Okay, I wish I had some alcohol with me right now. I've got bog standard water, but I would like to play a Man of Steel drinking game where every time Zack Snyder does that quick zoom in with the camera to something, it's all throughout this movie.
No, dude, for every inch of the screen that has lens flare, take a drink.
It's very similar to JJ. JJ likes his zooms as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. I just completely just shuts Helix up there.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like, bitch, please, I've got to dive.
That is just a nice dive, come on.
So I think this is the bit right now, isn't it? Where Matrix. Oh, look at that. That's
Intercellular
literally a
Matrix,
shot from the
yeah.
Matrix. You've even got the metal crab things taking the embryos out.
I can't remember the Matrix. I remember bits of it. I remember Bullet Time.
I would happily defend all 3 Matrix films.
You've said
That's not a good thing.
We're gonna have to do a review on those at some point.
We are.
So what do you guys think of the whole all Kryptonians are like genetically grown for a purpose and
It's the sci-fi spin of the class system of the 1800s. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
and that's like a skull, isn't it? Was that like the first Kryptonian or something? Or
No, it's what makes Superman Superman.
It's the MacGuffin that will be used all the way through the movie.
It's such a shame I'm
I
watching.
thought the MacGuffin was Superman.
Yeah, but it's the codex that goes into Superman's blood. So Superman is the MacGuffin.
That's why he's so perfect and boring.
Action!
I'm still
You know
excited.
what? Actually, I don't think there's much fast mo, slow mo in this film, is there? Like other Zack Snyder movies.
No.
No, I don't think there's much slow mo. I don't think there's a lot of slow mo. To be fair, it wouldn't suit it.
No.
Like Watchmen did, and it looked great when Watchmen used slow mo.
I love Watchmen.
Mm.
Yeah, so
I don't see people's problems with it.
I've seen it the once, but I've got the extended cut which I need to watch.
Zack Snyder is fantastic when he's plagiarizing other people's work.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like his storyboards, he just buys a book of Amazon. He's like, there you go.
Did you guys hear about that they want to do a TV show just set on Krypton? I don't know if it's going to
Interesting.
tie in with this film, but
David
could-
was writing it, which is a shame.
mm,
Um,
I mean, in all honesty, I could see a full film just set on Krypton. I mean, ultimately, you know how it's going to end, but this stuff was kind of cool. It was something we hadn't seen before with Superman.
I want a Zod origin story,
Mm.
but like Edge of Tomorrow, where each day is Zod taking control of the planet until he succeeds, and then it finishes with him being sent off in the Flying Dillo.
Okay, so for people watching, they're just deciding whether to send baby Soups away. See, this is the thing with this movie. Like, when I first saw the trailers, as I said, I had like a huge emotional response to the trailers, thinking this was going to be just game-changing, think this was going to just be phenomenal. I think the lines that they speak all the way through this movie work well in trailers because they're all trailer lines. But when the actual dialogue's being said in the film, I don't think it works as well because people don't feel like real people in it.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean. Well, it's how
Mm,
It's very exposition based. It's you
That's
will
the
you'll be great Superman. You will do all these amazing things, Superman, and that works so well in a trailer. But in the movie, it's like we need a bit of levity, we need a bit of humanity.
Russell Crowe's walking exposition proven by the CGI. It's not CGI. The USB that he becomes later on.
Oh, do you think he must have had it written into his contract? Where he's like, I'm not just being in your movie for like the first 10 minutes. Like I want in all the way through this thing.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He's good. I think I like him as Jorah.
The music here is really nice.
Can't hear it.
Yeah, we've all got it on really low volume, haven't we?
It's such a shame. That's because of how loud the film gets. At least it's not like a plastic baby like American Sniper.
I was looking out for that when I watched that movie. God, that's inexcusable. That.
It was hilarious.
Oh, could you imagine a Clint Eastwood directed Superman film?
I'm incredibly confused right now. Not by the film. This is something for us mainly, but Stream says it's offline. Yeah, it is streaming.
Eh? Hold on.
This is what I mean. I don't know. Just going away from the film. Is this because? Yeah.
I have a live now.
Are we live streaming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, we're just watching the film tape.
Oh, sweet, cool. Either
Okay,
works for me.
They've just put the Kryptonian USB device into the thing, and now he's pushing the thing into the thing, and.
Joe, I'm not gonna lie. As an adapter, that doesn't look very safe, and it looks like it might snap.
Well, how are you meant to put it back out?
Yeah, because they're obviously sending him to a planet where the system won't actually work. That's just poor design. Come on, Team Superman.
Oh, look at
Oh,
you.
God, here we go. Jarrell's suiting up.
It's like Fallout power armor.
Yeah, it is.
I think that was like all the Transformers sound effects, wasn't it, when that suit was going onto him? Jarrell's secretly an Autobot.
Then you've got the Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones design.
Yeah. Said See, for as much as this movie kind of just wants to bypass the whole Superman origin story, spending an awful lot of time on the Superman origin story right now.
Yeah, it is.
Which is what makes... I'm going to get into this much later, but I would have liked it just to be a completely linear narrative. They really try and go with the whole Batman Begins fragmented, non-linear style, and I don't know if that works for this movie.
It doesn't work for the film. I think in our era, in the character of him and Batman, I don't think the linear narrative works because it's an evolvement, whereas you've got ones like Spider-Man where it happens, Iron Man it happens. It's very much like a DC thing where their origins are kind of their life stories. I mean, except you can have a few like Flash that happens, the standard ones, but like Arrows again, that's its own one. So I've always noticed is the difference in the companies. The one thing I've always noticed is that in DC, the villains just tend to happen to become villains.
This music here is so Da Vinci Code. God damn it, Jarrell, you're a toy. Use your karate chop action.
There you go. Ooh, ah, ah.
So it's just Fallout.
Oh, this is about to be the bit where
Hit face.
Zod's got like the random Wolverine claw in his costume. God, Jarrell's just brutal. Jesus.
He is winning that fight.
Weren't they like bros before this fight as well, weren't they?
Oh yeah, they were. They were total bros. Like they'd hang out, have a beer, you know.
I'd have a beer with Zod.
He looks like a chill guy when he isn't trying to genocide an entire race.
See, this is what confused. I remember seeing this for the first time as well and being confused about this. Okay, so he's aware that the planet is about to blow up, right? So why does he try to take over it when it's about like an hour away from blowing up? It just seems kind of pointless.
Power?
He'll have power for like an hour. He knows that it's blowing up. He knows that Krypton's doomed.
Oh, there's your Darth Vader no.
That's one of two no's in this movie, both of which are great. Oh, we're meant to feel sad because Russell Crowe just died.
No, Crowe!
Hang on, wait for it.
There's not.
Oof! Oh no, she seems so sad and shocked and sad.
Time to like jog over to her husband.
Yeah. See, I remember thinking her acting was terrible in this, and then she does Daredevil and she just knocks it out of the park.
Oh, the subtitles right again. Lara sobbing.
I'd say she's mildly inconvenienced, to be honest.
His name is Cal. It's short for Callum.
Imagine if Russell Crowe just morphed into Kingpin. He just gets to go, Wesley.
No, the only Cal that matters is the one from Titanic. Billy Zane.
Billy Zane is your friend.
Those ships really remind me of... It's like Tron. I think it's the colour schemes really reminding me of Tron right now.
Oh, that is a
I'd say
weird
it's more like Halo.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh!
Explosions everywhere. Brrr.
Do you reckon they could have Transformers crossover? You could have like two directors like directing aspects of the films.
Now, wouldn't it be better here just to kill Zod?
No, because they're a democracy and they have to send them into the Phantom Zone in convenient penis-shaped rockets. That's a cool shot. Sunset. They're like the things from Mass
hey,
Effect.
Look, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, it's the Reapers from Mass Effect.
I love this Zod, the pure anarchy of.
This is Zod's crowning moment.
This is one of the best parts of the film.
Just look at the ripped guy in the background.
Yeah, he skipped leg day.
Cuffs off. Might be Black Adam for all we know. It might be The Rock. There we go.
Oh, I'll wait for it.
Wayne's being frozen.
Yeah,
I will find him.
Wait. Yes. The only problem I had with that bit is that he repeats it like 5 times.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it's cooler if he just yells it once.
I'm not gonna lie, but I think you guys are 2 seconds ahead of me, but that's fine. Or maybe half a second.
I think we're close enough. That's all right. I want to know how no one in the whole production team of this took one look at those rockets and went, "Hang on." when DC gets absolutely desperate with its merchandising, it will move into other markets.
I just think like a spaceship shaped like that is perfectly aerodynamic. Like seriously.
So I'm just checking my timestamp right now. I'm in like 17 minutes 40 seconds, so we're just coming up to the 18-minute mark.
Yeah, I'm on the same as you. I think George is slightly ahead.
Phantom Zone's just opening right now.
Yeah.
1750. 1, 2, 3. Am I the only one watching off a Blu-ray player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're 1 second ahead of us.
That's right.
We get the gist. We're thereabouts. So the Phantom Zone definitely looks different to the old Richard Donner one, which was like the weird 2D glass box they propel themselves through space. Oh, this is a big moment. Krypton's about to get destroyed. Spoiler alert.
Why did she fly away? She knew.
She's had time to get back, change into funeral mourning gear.
And then watch the planet explode.
See, this
Do
is
you
what
want to look
annoys
your
me.
best when the planet explodes?
Gosh, she's about to fall out of that dress,
Girl
isn't
was
she?
right.
Jesus.
She did not agree with her husband. This is the end for me.
My only friend, the end.
One day I will find Wesley and I will just say, Wesley. Hey, you haven't seen Daredevil, have you? Speaking of Daredevil, as we're on a quite boring patch for Man of Steel now.
One of many.
No, just just silence for the next bit.
Ow. That isn't good for a makeup. I don't think that's good for a makeup at all.
How is Daredevil then so far? I've only watched the first episode currently, as of this. You're a bit ahead of me.
I'm on episode 2 of
Wait,
series 1.
Oh. You're only half behind me.
I got to the hallway fight scene, thought that's cool, and then never went back to it.
Oh, man.
They do better than the hallway fight scene, actually.
Oh, action music.
It starts in the hallway, and they go downstairs, but they're like flights of stairs that are squared. It's just incredible.
And
Okay,
we're
moving back
about
to this film, I've
Yeah.
got to put my hand up and say I'm not a Superman fan. I may have a Superman top on. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think it's the dumbest superhero ever.
Yeah,
But I have to say,
he's
I
not the
can
dumbest.
defend this film.
he's John Cena.
Okay, and this is where my problems with this movie start to begin right now.
You have a problem with fishermen, eh?
It's the greatest catch. But this is where the non-linear thing doesn't work for me in this movie, because we're sort of thrown straight into a situation now where Superman just straight up uses his powers in front of everyone, but we've missed out on the time where he's grown as a character. We don't know anything about him at this point as personality. It's sort of like the Attack of the Clones thing, where you skip over the most important part, which was Anakin's training and development as a character. So I just don't know why we're meant to care about him at this point.
Because it's a reference to Aquaman, which they clearly planned.
No, that's the Indian Ocean bit at the end, isn't it?
I have met Aquaman. Let's be
He's
honest,
Superman. Does he not have the power to tell the sea to calm down?
he just eats the fish.
He could use his ice breath, couldn't he? Just cool the fire down.
Oh, he disappeared? No, this is one of my favourite songs. It's called Oil Rig on the soundtrack. There's the Wolverine shot. I've seen that before.
So, and this bit here is a little contradictory as well, especially with sort of the teachings that Jonathan Kent gives him later about that he needs to hide his powers. And there he is, just flaming Superman in front of everyone.
This is the part where he doesn't care anymore and he's trying to save these people.
Well, he could have very easily. Oh, I'll get to this later, but he could have very easily saved Pa Kent.
Chris, you hate this film because he doesn't go about saving people, but he does. There's
Just
one.
remember, in the world, you have to remember that in the world of Superman, this means all of the films and all of the TV series, his disguise has been a pair of glasses. In this film,
Yeah.
the distinguishing features between him now and him as Superman is the beard.
Yeah. Which is never explained how he shaved that. I always think, did he have like his laser eyes and try to like bounce it off a mirror? Get the perfect cleanest shave?
But that's his Wolverine audition right
At the
there.
present moment in time, he is doing a good rep session, I feel.
It's just this movie seems like it's the rush to get to Superman as quick as we can. and you get a couple of flashbacks here and there that show a little bit of development, but I think we needed that lead up. Like the original Superman, you lead up all through his teens, where he's a misunderstood kid and he's trying to deal with his powers, all of that stuff. And then when you hit Superman, boom, you can do whatever you want.
Now,
And I mean, we go back now.
This film. No, here's the good thing I like about this film. He's human. He is more human than any other Superman has been, and I like that because all of the other Supermen have always been, oh, he's an alien, he's invincible, he's all these different things. In this one, he isn't. He's vulnerable, very vulnerable, and I like seeing that. I
agree that the themes of that are there. I just think that they push too hard with the action on it, and there's just not enough personality to it. I prefer the Christopher Reeve one. I know that you don't, but like it hasn't aged particularly well. But I just think that there's more charm to the character there. There's more likability factor to him. Here it's very serious and brooding, and that's, to me, is not what the character of Superman is. But all this sequence that we're watching now, which is the scene where his super hearing and his X-ray vision's going crazy, this is actually my favourite scene in the whole film.
It's a good scene.
This to me was a really nice human moment where Mark Kent's about to be called in, tries to talk him down.
Oh God!
It's Diane Lane, isn't it? I believe playing as well. She was brilliant in this, I thought.
You liked the performances in this, Chris?
I liked her. Yeah, I honestly can't fault the casting. It's not a fault of the casting at all in this movie. It's entirely down to the story and the script that I have a problem with. The soundtrack in this bit's nice as well. The piano Superman theme.
It's a great soundtrack. Should have been nominated for the Oscars that year. Shocking that Hans Zimmer's only won one.
Yeah, it is.
Plus years ago for Lion King.
Lion King totally deserved one though.
Huh?
What I've just found with like what I found recently though with Hans Zimmer's score, they are very samey at this point. I'm finding they are very sort of. You could like take the soundtrack from this and add it over Inception, for example, or anything. It's all very drum and Inception bombs left, right, and
centre. What about Interstellar? That was completely off the charts.
Yeah, church organ.
They're not soundtracks I could like listen to. Like the original Superman soundtrack, John Williams, I could literally listen to that track one to the end. With this one, it all sort of starts rolling into one after a while for me.
They're very different. See, I don't want to diss John Williams.
Superman, he's like, oh yeah, those are a nice pair of socks. I might take those. They look nice.
Totally steals from this family.
You ever return?
Straight up steals from that family.
Wow, I'm telling you now, he is the bad guy. He is the bad guy. We should be going for Zod. Screw it. Zod was like, hey, look, we got to make the best of like a bad situation and take the power where it is. Yeah, sure, people were trying to stop him, but to be honest, there was nothing else that he could do. Maybe with a little bit more power, they could have been able to survive.
I love the flashback of the fat kid on the bus. I don't think we're at that bit yet.
Who has a character arc?
He's called Pete, apparently.
I don't know. That never gets answered as well. Is she his girlfriend?
See, this sequence is cool.
I've got. This is one of my only problems with this.
Wait, the water splashes before the bus goes into it. I've never noticed that before.
Bus gets a flat from nowhere, going onto a bridge, going at quite high speeds where he could have controlled it, and there's no barriers on the bridge. America.
Shush, Tate, we need an action sequence again.
Oh, sorry.
What would happen in real life is that the Americans...
At the moment, he isn't thinking about anyone else. He's thinking, do you know what, I may want to save the girl here. Maybe. I don't know, she smiled at me once. That might get me laid later on.
It's like a brief tangent with me and movies, but do any of you do this when there's a moment where people are underwater? You try and hold your breath to match them? See if you can do it? No? Am I the only one who does that? No? Okay. But no, like this is a cool thing. It's like I wanted to see more of this. I wanted to see the whole development of him as he grows up. So you get to know him as a character. Then you can meet him at that point in the oil rig or this bit where he's
We've now
strolling
seen
through the town.
Hold on. Okay, so at this moment in time, he is now that deep. He must have had to sink the bus to the bottom and then walk up slowly.
Yeah.
We did a whole shot of it is.
I'm trying to think. It wasn't a school bus, was it? I'm trying to think of the original Superman comic. I think it was a car, wasn't it? In the original adventure. Yeah.
From what I've seen of some Zack Snyder fanboys on Twitter, there's a lot of comic book covers that are being used in Batman v Superman's storyboards.
Let's say with like his other films, they're direct adaptations, and all the imagery in them is practically identical to the comic, and there's not really much of that in this movie. But we've seen just from the trailer alone that Batman v Superman looks like it's doing that a lot, especially with Dark Knight Returns with the blue thunderbolt with Batman on the building.
It's got its perks, but then it doesn't. I think it's more effective when you do the iconic one. So the one I always think of is Spider-Man 2.
Mm.
You have the trash thing in the trash can, but that shot doesn't happen. That shot is created by him walking away. Whereas in this, it will just cut to the shot of the cover and move along.
Yeah.
I prefer them done a little bit like. I like watching the film. I read the comic once, and the whole thing is just plagiarism. I understand. I understand something like that though, because that's your only source material.
Yeah. So I think we need to talk about this scene because this is a big sort of dividing point among fans and people who dislike this film. First off, Kevin Costner, you can't go wrong with that casting for Park Kent. I think that's fantastic casting, and he does really well in this film with the material that he's given. What do we think of the whole, what was I supposed to do? Just let them die? Maybe.
I think that is a brilliant thing that they brought into this film, and to be honest, it hadn't really been developed since Smallville, I reckon. I know there was a small amount in Smallville where, I can't remember what the episode was, but a situation went awry, and he basically said, "What should I have done?" And they said, "Sometimes you've got to let things go," and I think that was brilliant, and I think bringing it into this film was actually needed. It really was, because it grounds the character, it kind of puts things in perspective, and it tells the story of, you're Superman, you can't save everything every time, and I think that was the main problem with the original films. The original films had the whole, oh, everything's gone wrong, let me just go fly back in time and fix everything. Whilst with more modern-based films like this, the consequences, you live with them, and that's how films have moved forward. People, instead of, oh look, there's a thing, I've done it, hooray, no consequences. Now the whole idea of plots is based around consequences of different people's actions, especially in the superhero genre. And I really liked how they entered it into this film.
Okay, on the flip side for me, I see your point, and when I saw the trailer initially, I thought exactly the same as you. Like, that's a really bold way to take Superman. When you see it in the context of the film, though, it's like, oh yeah, I could have just like let a whole school bus full of innocent children just drown just to hide my identity. Like, I don't really get that, especially when we just saw him at the oil rig. You know, again, I keep going back to that. Like,
yeah, but you have to remember, the oil rig is later on in life. At this stage, he cannot protect himself.
These are still his life.
Protect himself. As an adult, he can go and hide places, and he can like go off and just escape into another person. When he's a kid, when he's still underneath the guardians of his parents, he can't do any of that.
Park Kent is doing a really bad job of parenting right now. Maybe it explains, though, why later on in the film Superman just lets millions of people die in the city.
I feel like because this entire film is based around the idea of weighing up the consequences and what is right, what is wrong. And that is especially here in this scene, and especially towards the end. And
I think it poses that, but I don't think it does a good job of developing that theme enough.
There isn't really much to develop upon the theme itself. It's a very small theme.
If it had gone with that, and rolled with it and actually made something out of it, then I might be on board with it more. Maybe if he learned some kind of lesson from it at the end. But I don't think Zack Snyder has the directorial chops to bring that out.
The lesson at the end learned, which I won't spoil now for people who are watching it, but we'll get back to it in a bit, is that you can't save everyone sometimes, and sometimes you have to make key decisions and go against your own rules to think of the greater good. And he knows it gets out of hand in the end. Everyone knows it gets out of hand in the end. And he thinks, I've got to make a decision here. Do I go against my morals or do I save these people? And that is what this entire film is all about, including the previous bus scene, including this scene right now in the bar, including every scene since this. Like, everything is about that.
This is not over, Tate. To be continued.
Just remember, at the moment, it's just me and you who's arguing,
Yeah.
and George hasn't even pitched in yet, and I
George
know
is just
he's my
enjoying watching
side.
this movie.
I was going back
Oh.
to what you said, Tate was saying about superhero films like today, how different it was. What's kind of sprung to my mind is that if you take the original Superman film, bright contrasting colours, okay, lovey-dovey, saving the day.
But that's what Superman is.
If that came out today, that'd be seen as an Amazing Spider-Man 2. They would mock everything about it. They'd mock it trying to be happy.
Oh, here we go.
A bloke wearing pants on the outside of his tights. The fact that he's saving people in Lycra. If you took the original idea of Superman and released it in 2016, you are going to have a box office bomb. That is why Superman Returns did shit.
That didn't know what it wanted to be, though, did it? That film.
This film.
I don't know which one I prefer. I don't know whether I prefer this movie or Superman Returns. They both have I think they're both bad, but I think they're bad in different ways.
This film isn't bad. Now, here's the thing, Chris. Like, this film isn't a bad film. It has its faults. Both me and George can admit to that. I think everyone could admit to that. It's not a perfect film. Not many films nowadays are, other than Whiplash. Now, like...
And Brooklyn. By the way,
Brooklyn, sorry.
I've got an issue with Whiplash.
Oh? We'll talk about Whiplash another time. But what I'm saying is, this film does have its flaws. However, you're taking them way out of proportion. You have to just remember that in the context of this film, it's actually okay, and it's probably one of the better Superman incarnations, probably in the top 3.
There's only
been a lot.
4 notable ones.
Yeah, Quest for Peace.
Oh yeah, that was the 4th one. Everyone knows that one sucks.
Did he turn on himself or something like that?
Oh, that was in Superman 3.
Wasn't there like a bad Superman and good Superman?
Yeah.
Yeah, Superman 3. And then we've got Superman Returns.
Which was a continuation of Superman, the original series.
Well, that's it. I think it sort of wanted to try and do something a bit new. It wanted to be a new reboot. I think that was originally going to set up for like a Justice League thing, like a new one. But I think it came out around the same time of Batman Begins, and they didn't want to go in and combine the two.
And Batman Begins comes out, and it's welcome Christopher Nolan. And anyone doing a blockbuster changed the tone once Nolan got into it. The Dark Knight formed not dark as in colour palettes. It gave rise to the sort of the way I saw it. There was a patch where in every film there was the villain doing one over the good guys escaping from prison. Skyfall had that. I think there was about 4 or 5 films around the time post Dark Knight. You've got to think when Dark Knight came out, these films were being written in 2009/10, but then released in 2012. So there's immediate back off that. Amazing Spider-Man, it rebooted as being Batman Begins, and then Amazing Spider-Man 2 rebooted as Avengers, colour palette wise. Nolan changed blockbuster filmmaking, and that's why I'm buzzing for Dunkirk, because I think he's going to make us the best goddamn war film since Saving Private Ryan.
So just as a timestamp, Lois Lane, we've been introduced to Amy Adams as Lois Lane. She's just done the product placement for Nikon cameras.
Yeah, we're getting.
What is your thoughts on Amy Adams as a casting choice?
I think Amy Adams is a fantastic actress. I just think her character was a little wasted in this. She starts off great. She's really just independent, strong. She's talking back to the generals. That's really cool. And then it's sort of around the time she meets Clark, which isn't too far away, that I think her character just starts to like tread water. Like they never know what to do with her in this film.
I don't see much of her for the new one. I think she's going to have a very minor role.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big role. And I have a problem with Lois Lane as a character because it's the classic damsel in distress. Works at the same place as the main hero. The character was made in an older time. You'd expect like a character to be developed more for modern times and modern comic books, but it just hasn't been.
One thing I will say though, and you two are probably gonna disagree with me on this because you'll think this is a more updated version, but I really liked Margot Kidder's Lois Lane in the. Well, I've only seen the first two Superman. I haven't bothered with 3 and 4 because I know they're meant to be really bad. But one thing that I really miss is her interactions with the Clark Kent character in the Daily Planet. We only really get a little bit of a sense of that in the very final scene of this movie, but I do think that is such a core aspect of the character, that whole dynamic, and she immediately knows his identity in this. We're not quite there yet, it's a couple of minutes off, but with her knowing Superman's real identity all throughout this movie, I think you lose a huge aspect of drama and personality between the two characters. That was some of the most charming stuff to watch.
That goes against the idea of avoiding, like, oh,
there's glasses.
But it's Superman, you know? That's the character. Like it or lump it, that's the character.
The general audience aren't that dumb anymore.
We're
too advanced. You've got the dark.
You're sucking out like all the humanity and charm from Superman, and you're turning it into like another Batman movie. And Batman works because the character calls for it to be dark and brooding, but Superman's just isn't a character. That's why you have the offset in the team of the Justice League. Now it looks like every single member of the Justice League is going to be dark and brooding and miserable. Also, look at that product placement for Nikon cameras.
Again, it's the era.
Nikon.
If you released the Adam West Batman today, I fucking love Adam West. It wouldn't work.
Oh hell no, no! But that's a product of its time.
Batman and Robin failed. Batman and Robin would have come out in 1970, 3 or 4 when Superman came out. Batman and Robin would have been hailed as a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It came off the back of the darker films and it came out in the wrong era, which is why it's utterly despised.
I just think what this film did, you can clearly see, just like the studio all over it, they clearly looked at Nolan's Batman trilogy and went, that worked, let's just try and do exactly the same with Superman. And I think that's the fault, ultimately, of this movie. It needed to be its own thing, it needed to go in a completely different direction. Batman v Superman does look like it's going a lot more comic booky, and I hope it does, and I hope it starts to get a bit of levity in it, especially with Suicide Squad coming out. Also, wasn't that a reference to Supergirl? I think there was like a prequel comic to this, wasn't there?
Not related to the TV show, but it is a reference for the DC universe.
Yeah.
Oh, look, zoom in 2 Nikons.
Yeah. Get used to that product placement, by the way, because that's going to come back full force.
Lois Lane's just being punched in the face by the squid tentacle thing from Matrix.
Yeah. The power of John
Cena. By a pissed off Rosie the robot.
The way people watch wrestling, they don't understand the references.
Jesus, can we go more than
alright? Alright.
Everyone hates John Cena, okay, that's of a normal age like myself, and everyone hates this geezer called Roman, who you guys definitely wouldn't have heard of. Because he is a Superman.
Oh, she's been stabbed.
That's why people hate him, because he's just a boring two-dimensional character. And that's
I think you can have humanity, but the humanity comes with... There are scenes in the original 2 Superman films that are genuinely moving. Like, there's one from towards the end of Superman 2, I think I mentioned it to you guys. It's right before what I would completely agree is the bullshit memory wipe kiss. But before that, if you guys watch that scene, that is a beautiful piece of acting from Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder. There are elements that you can... There are things you can do with a character that do bring more humanity to him. But you do just sort of have to look past all of the overpowered Superman can do anything, which is difficult. I agree, because I was with you. Superman always bored me, and then I went back and watched those other 2 films, and I sort of had a bit more of a fondness for the character, because he is an archetype. At the end of it, he is just the American truth, justice, freedom poster child, really.
I thought that was Captain America. He even has America.
He's the
in his
DC
name.
version. Well, actually, I guess Captain America is because Superman was the first superhero, I want to say. At least in a comic sense.
I want to say no.
What did they do in the Winter Soldier to make Captain America interesting?
They introduced his best friend Bucky
No.
for much drama.
Him an interesting character.
Yeah,
They did it
which I don't think they achieved in this movie.
The 1950s comics and the original interpretations. They modernized it for a modern cinematic, stuff, and it worked.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is a modernization doesn't have to be boring or suck out all the fun and levity from it.
But Superman's such a boring character anyway.
We're going to have to agree to disagree.
Like, the difference with Captain America, he was invented as propaganda. The first ever comic was him punching Hitler. Whereas now, obviously, you can't have that. They're not going to reboot of him punching Kim Jong Un.
Oh, we have a Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White.
Don't you mean Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Print or I walk. Damn, Daniel. Speaking of Matrix, he is reuniting with Keanu Reeves for John Wick 2 next year.
Oh,
Yes.
really? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Matrix 4 might be on the cards.
What if John Wick is actually part of the Matrix?
Neo survived the ending of Matrix Revolutions.
I would
Spoiler alert.
Joking, I don't care.
Is that American Simon Pegg?
Simon Pegg's just been cast in Ready Player One, that new Spielberg film.
Yeah, I know.
They're running a tight ship. Like, if it comes out next March, I'm guessing there's like a lot of post-production to do on it.
Mm.
So they must have a very close filming unless they've already begun.
Well, they were casting
Polar bear.
since last year.
Huh?
Because I was having a look at the casting, because they were doing open casting for a couple of the characters, major ones.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they've got the majors, haven't they?
Yeah.
Whether or not he's got to finish BFG first, and then, because he likes to do 2 films at once, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, we have a return of Russell Crowe.
But how will he know that's his dad?
Well, he doesn't. I think. Well, this is my problem now. He basically explains the whole opening 15 minutes again in real time. And I know that Superman doesn't know at this point, but I mean, they could have just either skipped over that whole intro bit and just like showed it in a flashback right now, or condensed it or something. But
Who was the better trainer? USB, Euro, or Liam Neeson, Batman?
oh, so Russell Crowe versus Liam Neeson.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go Liam Neeson because his morals were clear when he wanted to, and he taught him for 7 years in everything that he knew. I mean, he did try and turn on the city at the end, but you got to do what you got to do.
I don't think he was at the league for 7 years.
I think he trained because like the time jump. I thought it was 7 years.
He goes.
I don't know whether he was training up with Ra's al Ghul for the 7 years, or if that's the 7 years he was gone. But
I think he was gone for about 7-8 years. I think he was with Raj Al Ghul for, I'd say, a maximum of 6 months to a year. Because it was the whole "you are now one of us" thing, which you'd think would be training for a bit. I don't get this animation.
No, it's a bit like It's a Small World, isn't it?
They're trying to do Deathly Hallows.
I understand why they explain this now, because it's small little kind of hints of what's happening later.
Well, I think they talk about the only new information we get given here is like the whole world engine thing, which is a big thing towards the end climax. But it's like, you were born, Cal, on Krypton. We sent you away to say. It's like, I know we've seen all this, and for a movie that wants to just skip over as much of the origin as possible, like stuff like this just confuses me. Also, we need to talk about the Fortress of Solitude in this, I guess, is just the ship.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Well,
I don't
once
really
again,
care.
Fortress of Solitude is very, very stupid. It really is. It's Superman's quiet spot, but I was watching a film theory video yesterday, and if Superman does get his powers from the sun, going to the Arctic is probably the worst place to go because that's where the leaf sun is. So if you think about it, really, Superman's real dumb.
I don't know. I just like. See, I don't know if it's always been like a big Crystal Palace thing, like it is in the Donner ones, because I haven't read any
I'm sorry,
Superman.
but Elsa's kind of got her reign on that now.
Crystal Palace, Chris, you like football?
That's over my head completely.
Tate's got a fond memory of Crystal Palace being 3-0 up with 10 minutes to go and drawing. Basically, Liverpool.
Talking about choking, how's Arsenal doing this season?
Great. We're in the Community Shield.
Okay, we're currently at like 48 minutes-ish.
Okay,
We're
I'm
about
on
to get
48, 13,
yeah,
15, 16, 17.
Okay, so this was a problem for me initially. First off, I actually kind of dig the look of the suit. I like
nice
the
suit,
I like the kind of chainmail effect on it.
No capes.
Yeah, yeah. But so they did away with the outside red underpants. I'm fine with that. I wasn't up in arms about that. It's kind of weird. I think it's done it in the comics before, but it is kind of weird to see it without the red underpants on the outside. But I want to know just where he got the suit. I thought it would have been a cool thing if maybe in the intro, if it was Russell Crowe's suit, and he's like now passing it down to his son. I thought maybe that would have been a cool way to explain the suit.
I'm sorry, but you have to admit the cinematography in this film is beautiful.
When it's not shaky cam, sure. Like that's beautiful. That was in the trailer. That was just amazing.
I don't read Superman comics because I fucking hate Superman. But apparently the flight scene is really well adapted off an original one.
Mm.
See, at this point, I would have to say that like the film was trying to be bigger than it was, and it would have worked if this film was absolutely incredible. This would have been one of the best scenes for it.
Mm. See, we're almost 50 minutes into it, and it seems like the rush to get him in the costume. But imagine if we'd have had 45 minutes of seeing this guy grow from a boy through his teenage years into manhood, and then this is the first time he gets in the costume. We would have got a sense of his character and everything like that. And we don't really, well, I don't get a sense of that at this point in the movie. So seeing this has no emotional. It just has no emotion for me at all.
Have you watched Boyhood?
Not yet, no, I haven't.
The first 50,
Do not watch Boyhood.
The first 50 minutes is the age of him being 3 to 13. I can guarantee you, 50 minutes of that is not what you want out of a superhero origin film.
Well, if it's an origin, then if it's done well, if it's nice interaction with Mara and Park Kent and at school and like the bullies and stuff like that, it doesn't have to be 50 minutes. You could do that stuff in like half hour.
You'd still be bored of seeing him as a kid.
But like we've just had action.
Batman Begins had started A to Z, have him falling down the well, his parents being shot, have the court trial, have him about to shoot him and get kicked out of the pub and then travel. You'd be so bored. And that's what
I wouldn't. But like all that stuff is there for the character of Batman. I don't know why, but the non-linear stuff worked for Batman Begins. It really does.
This is the bit. This is the moment. The moment that
it's the score though. It's the score though. It just nothing for me in this scene.
Why? It's great. Flight, Hans Zimmer, good song.
Here, I think they should have used the "What are you going to do when you're not saving the world" theme, which kicks in at the end credits, because that's the main Superman theme, and it's only used in the end credits.
Because it's an origin film.
I know, but you want that aspect of, like, the original Superman score is so iconic. Whenever Superman flies in, boom, it plays. You tether that song to the character. I love soundtracks that do this. This is similar to Batman Begins, where the character really doesn't have a clear-cut theme, and that bothers me because so much comes from the music with movies, and if we'd have had a clear-cut Superman theme that's tethered to that character, and when he comes swooping in at the end, it plays full volume, that would have been an amazing experience, and I think you would have got a lot more from it.
I think the problem at the moment is that films are trying to distance themselves from the normal tropes. And to do so, they're going to have to goof things like that. They're going to have to.
They're going to have to actually write original themes.
No, but it's not that in general. The way I've seen it is, in the 70s you have themes, right? Can you tell me any of the songs on the Superman soundtrack that's not that theme?
Yes, the Lois and Clark love theme, the Krypton theme, Zod's theme, everything.
And that's the thing, they're all themes. It's not a soundtrack as such. Jaws. Just go through that era of the 70s, right? Jaws has the Jaws theme. It's very similar to John Williams. Like, I love John Williams, but everything is the same big, brass, loud theme. Star Wars, I give that the credit of being incredible. But in this era today, you can't have a film that is simply just themes over the top. You need soundtracks to integrate.
Well, no, you can. And the other films did have filler music, but this, to me, is just a soundtrack of pure filler music.
That's why Dark Knight, the trilogy as such, there is a Dark Knight theme in there. I'm not going to reenact it. I think it's
yeah, from
the one
soundtrack.
on Batman Begins, which is a genius soundtrack because it says Batman on the side with bat species, but it makes it horrific to pronounce.
Yeah.
There's a Batman theme in this, there's a Superman theme in this. And they don't have to rely on themes. I just think it's an old trope. The last film I could think of that had a theme for itself was Harry Potter. And that's John Williams scoring that in 2001.
I just think, that's fair. Especially for superhero films, I just think it adds so much more to the character. Like, you look at the Danny Elfman, Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, fantastic soundtrack.
Tim
Burton's Batman films, the original I just think so much is lost from it.
Late 80s, early noughties. Spider-Man.
Even, I thought the first Thor film had a great soundtrack.
Huh? Which one?
The first Thor film, and then they got a different.
Had a theme.
Yeah, no, the Avengers had a theme, but then again, that was kind of dropped in the second one.
I just don't think Marvel soundtracks are awful. Let's be honest.
I think they always start well, but then they just abandon the themes they set up, and I think if you carry that into, like the new Kung Fu Panda films, like all of those have the same themes going throughout, and you can progress them, and you can change the instrumentation and just change it. I just think
very important scene. In fact,
okay,
we've already spoken through Lois confronting Clark.
So we're like coming up to shortly 55 minutes in. We're in the car with Mark Kent, and Clark, and this was one of the biggest scenes I remember coming out where people were really divided on this.
This scene is just best put with the scene earlier of sometimes you can't save everyone, and you got to think of what will be good, what will be bad, the consequences of both of those.
I don't mind the themes of that. I think what the problem is of this is the actual setup for it. I think how it's framed and the thing of it being a tornado, I don't think it's a good enough example to prove that Superman could have, he could have easily got over there, back, saved everyone. I don't think that he needed to make his wife a widower just to prove this point in this situation.
I feel like I have to say it would have been better done as a car crash and not as a tornado.
Well, not to keep going back to the original all the time, but what's really effective about the original Superman is that he just dies naturally of a heart attack. It's something completely out of Clark's control. He's all-powerful, he can save everyone, but he can't change that. And I thought that was much more subtle, much more powerful for both of the characters, really. I don't know why they always have to kill Jonathan Kent off, though, because I don't think that's a thing in the comic. I don't know why they always have to keep...
It's because all heroes need to lose at least one or two parents. Yeah. You're talking about the guy on your shirt, Chris. I'm talking about the guy on your shirt.
Yeah.
He lost two. He lost two.
It's Superman. It's Batman v Superman, and Batman turns up in his armored suit, and he's like, "I came." Oh shit! What's the famous Roddy Piper quote? It's "I came here to chew bubblegum." No wait, it's "I came here to kick ass."
Kick ass and chew. Yeah.
And it's I'm one of our parents, and then a Superman just putting this like shit. There's going to be so many memes when that film comes out. I cannot wait.
Oh, that's going to be brilliant.
It's going to be great. I mean, my iPad broke today. I backed up all of my memes, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It was glorious. It was so depressing that they're not going to be on my iPad anymore. Godzilla with Cilla Black on Godzilla's head.
I love this bit now how Jonathan Kent just sort of like fades into the tornado. He doesn't get sort of like pulled in by it.
Really
It's
good
just
soundtrack song, I thought. No, but when I saw this for the first time, I'll say that I wasn't sad. Like, I very, very, very rarely cry at films. I didn't cry at this. I'm just gonna say it straight away. But it was a pretty.
That scene is pretty. Actually, that scene is pretty upsetting, and that is a brilliant way to kind of. I think the idea of flashbacks in this film actually works quite well. Like, I didn't realize it as much the first time round, but I feel like now they're starting to kind of pull through.
So, Chris, you're not hating this film as much as you made out you would.
there are bits of the film. I just think that the ingredients were there to just for this to be the new Dark Knight. In all honesty, like I think they could have just done so much more with the character. But I think ultimately what it boils down to is just a bit of a joyless 2.5-hour action flick. And I think watching from the trailers, it looked like it was going to be so much more than that. And I think that's what disappointed me the most. I'm really, really hoping that Batman v Superman can kind of claw it back. But I think that this is the foundation movie, and there's just so much character they didn't set up for Clark and Superman. I think you almost needed another sole Superman sequel on its own to establish him more, and then go into the Batman stuff. But we'll have to see how Batman v Superman is. But I think it is spinning a lot of plates, and I don't know whether it'll carry on the development of Clark.
The Batman stuff is going to be absolutely beautiful. When he came on, Ben Affleck, he came on set, he said to them, he was designing his own costumes. He says, I'm going to have my hair pulled back at the sides like this, because he does it in the comics like that. The old grizzled Batman, there's some grey hairs, they were his idea. Alongside Ben Affleck, they brought Chris Terrio, who wrote Argo. That's why I've got some hope for the script, that I've got feelings we're going to have some really intellectual scenes. Then we're going to
Guys, we
So-
just missed Lawrence Fishburne once again repeating the idea and theme of the film, that he basically said, I know what you're researching, and I've had a look at your notes, and you shouldn't write about the story, and you're right to not continue the story because she said she's going to drop it. And then his reasoning for that was, imagine how the people would react if they knew he existed.
Which is true.
Just saying.
Which is nice setup for the sequel, I guess. Also, this scene now where Clark's come back home to this is a nice scene. I needed more scenes like this. Just scenes
This
of
is the scene where Alfred talks to Batman in the terrible Batman films. Not gonna lie.
I don't know. See, I like this stuff. I like these interactions because it just adds a bit more soul to the character.
Where I come from now. You
Oh
knew
wow, that's nice.
he just doesn't care. Yeah, it does remind me of the old Alfred just serving a purpose.
Yeah.
You know what's creepy about the old Alfred? He put the costume he made for his great niece. Or,
His niece, Barbara Gordon.
I mean, if that's
Well,
his
it's not
niece,
Barbara Gordon, is it? It's,
60-year-old anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for the Jeremy Irons interpretation of Alfred.
he's going to be like the classic, like ex-marine, ex-soldier Alfred. I can't wait for that.
Like what Michael Caine would have been if it was 20 years ago, because Michael Caine's Alfred was great, but you could imagine him being a hands-on one like Jeremy Irons if Batman was to take place in that age group. But the age difference, you've got the older Batman and the younger Alfred, it's almost like 15, 20 years, you can say. Very interesting.
I'm just happy that we're getting more Jeremy Irons because he's also, I'm not sure whether he's the villain or he's a key role in High Rise as well. A massive role in High Rise.
My lecturer was chatting about High Rise. He's read the book and he says the first sentence sold him, where someone's sitting in their room and they're preparing to eat their dog. And that's like the first sentence, which is, that engages you at least. So that is going to be good. It's just a load of bullshit.
Okay.
It's going to be very, very different.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for
it. I think that might be the big bad wolf, shall we say?
Oh, it's when the radio transmissions come in, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a minute, yeah.
These were great because on all the football games they kept advertising Zod's thing, So there were all these morons that thought they were like a terrorist attack thing, and then at the end it would say like Man of Steel.
So that we just missed Colonel Exposition and Doctor Physicist Exposition.
See, Chris, you complain about The Dark Knight Rises for having many jokes, but this doesn't have any.
Exactly. No, I hate both that and this, but I think that there were at least some moments of heart in Dark Knight Rises which make me slightly, and I'm talking a smidgen, prefer that movie to this one.
But you hate both of them.
I detest both of them, but for very different reasons. Well, actually, one's kind of similar. I think both of them sort of completely miss the point of the character, but at least I can think of some scenes that actually got to me emotionally in Dark Knight Rises, which is more than I can say for this one. Like, for example, not to go too much into Dark Knight Rises, but the scene where Alfred breaks out. Any scene in that movie where Michael Caine cries is just upsets me. So stuff like that, that was nice. Some of the music towards the end when Batman's carrying the bomb over the sea, that was kind of nice.
Do you like the stadium explosion? The Bane speeches, breaking out the prisons?
Well, Bane just
About
hilarious.
material, but they try and adapt as much as Nightfall as they possibly can.
I think they either needed to split the movie into two parts, or...
Did you not like this kind of poltergeist type scene?
It is very poltergeist now you mention it, yeah. They really do play the creepy factor up in it. I love how Zod's got like some kind of language changer as well. Like, he's been brushing up on his linguistics.
Well, Doctor Who does it.
Yeah. And they even use the same phrase.
It is a very generic, cliched phrase, isn't it? Just to... But I swear to God, like, all sort of like sci-fi alien invasion movies do this now. Like, this is really giving me Transformers, what was it? Revenge of the Fallen flashbacks, where he transmits all around the world.
Transformers Revenge of the Fallen was unforgivable. Unforgivable and racist.
Oh, it totally was, but there are a couple of scenes in that movie I like.
Oh, see, we show Chris a...
No, seriously.
Guys, Chris is like a Transformer.
Revenge of the Fallen is not the worst Transformers film.
It is.
If you can sort of like go comatose for like an hour and then wake up briefly for the forest fight.
Transformers 2, there never will be. I'm a Transformers fan. Transformers.
It's a fucking atrocious film, don't get me wrong, but there were a couple of scenes in it I liked.
Everything with Agent Simmons.
Oh, apart from the devastator scrotum or whatever it was. Fuck that movie.
And actually, probably one of the best ever console tie-in games I ever played was Transformers 2. The was just free-for-alls around cities like GTA as Transformers. That was great.
So Zod's just trash-talking people now. About an hour, 5 minutes, and 30 seconds-ish, around that point. Oh, well, Superman's going to make them suffer the consequences, don't worry about it. Wait, didn't the light bulb burst? And then it sort of like burst back into light? Oh, did it? Okay, fair enough. I'll
Chris,
let them off.
You're being so cynical.
I'll let Zack Snyder off with that one. So, it's not much to talk about at this point. Amy Adams is making tea.
Ha! Ha ha! Ha ha! That's hilarious. I didn't realise that the first time round. Just on the news. Oh yeah, Lois Lane who knows who this guy is, and she basically says to herself, "Shit."
Yeah, that's the way she has to get at you. I really want him to like say on the phone, like, go to the window. Outside the window is a ledge. Walk across it.
Yes. Ha! Now the FBI are coming to SWAT her. She's like, oh yeah, I could totally get out of this situation.
Boom. Shaky cam.
She's like, yeah, I'm safe. No.
Bitch,
Never.
please.
Why
You're getting black bagged.
Yeah, I was going to question why they have rifles, but it's America.
They're expressing their right to the Second Amendment.
What I
Oh,
love-
it's
it's
General
not
Dude.
Daredevil, but Punisher. Which
A
walks-
general dude. Yes, that character.
Oh, here we go. Get ready for religious allegory.
I like the scene.
Oh, hang on, I think we
I
have a
like the
flashback
scene
first.
because when people are scared, it's one of the things that people would do, especially because we are so goddamn human. And that's what this film is trying to get across. He isn't an alien, he really is a human.
I think this flashback in particular is kind of pointless because you get Park Kent in a minute again, who basically reiterates all the speeches he's had before. It's just sort of the same message, just written slightly differently. And I don't know if
comparisons.
I don't know if this flashback really has any kind of bearing on the current scene that was at hand. I don't know. It's an okay scene. We get a bit more character growth for what was it, Pete? Was that his name?
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's more you are destined for greatness, but you have to control it, and it's like we get the message. Thank you, Kevin Costner. You're great. Dances with Wolves was fantastic, but you know.
You would have punched a hole through his face, son.
I wanted to put that kid through a skyscraper. Many skyscrapers, repeatedly.
And then snap his neck.
Chris, how would you feel if the person Zod was going to kill at the end was Pete and his new family?
Wait,
Pete
has family? What?
If they were in a situation, where they physically couldn't get out of it, I might be okay with that.
They can't get out of it.
They totally. Oh, we're going to come back to that scene. You just wait.
All I want for John Bernthal to walk out of Netflix, off my computer screen, into this TV, which is DC. Fucking guns loaded. Boom.
Oh, there you go. Look at that framing. Really subtle there, Zack Snyder. One of many Jesus imageries in this film. The next one probably comes when he has to save Lois from the pod that she's in that's crashing.
Because the original Superman comics were not meant to draw comparisons between him and Jesus. A man
Well, you can. I just think you can do it a lot more subtly than just, oh, look in the background. There's a stained glass window of Jesus. Superman is Jesus. We get it.
But the question is, will he be resurrected? And how long is his respawn?
Oh, just wait for Doomsday. Oh, action. Action! Tanks! We're in a Michael Bay movie. All it needs to be is at sunset.
God, if Michael Bay directed Superman, that'd be so much funner.
I know, right? I'm actually. I never thought I'd say this. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Wow!
What?
I do not agree with you at all.
It would be terrible. It would be awful in every way, shape, and form. But I could laugh maybe once or twice.
Chris wants him to save people.
Yeah,
So
I
Superman-
do.
Michael Bay would merely blow up a few buildings and have Superman save everyone from the inside.
Lens flare, please.
Chris wants.
No, all I wanted just you can have all this. It was
Oh
sort of
yeah,
like
handcuffs. That'll keep him in check.
he's just
And,
doing it to look.
You know who Michael Bay would bring with him to this film? The Rock.
Rock. We'd have Rock as Superman. How great would that be? Think about that.
No, because that's an insult to The Rock to compare him as such a shit person like Superman.
But think of all the charisma and likability he would bring to Superman that's significantly lacking in this movie.
He needs superpowers. He can genuinely pick up a tree and just quash someone with it.
This scene in particular, like the sort of, I guess, the interrogation scene, there are some great memes on the internet of this where they blend this scene with Dark Knight. Oh, I hate that the S is the symbol of hope, and it's just, no, let it stand for Superman. I think this movie as well, it only mentions the name Superman once.
It didn't even mention it there. It just said the word super.
Oh, I thought there was a guy towards the end who says like, "Oh, they're calling him Superman now, sir." That's what they're calling him.
They're calling him Man of Steel, sir. Roll credits.
Oh, we seem to have lost a George.
George has disappeared. He's
Bathroom
gone.
break.
Probably.
Oh god, this movie's so boring, isn't it? Jesus Christ.
No, it isn't. I'm quite enjoying it for a second time through. We're about halfway through. Exactly.
Okay, I will say this. If we're going to talk about Superman for a bit.
No, that's what really gets me. It's just how subtle it is. It's brilliant.
I will say this. I think that Henry Cavill is a fantastic choice for Superman. I just don't think he's given enough material to do the character complete justice.
Now, I have more worries about Batman vs Superman than I did with this film.
Mm.
I do, because they're rebooting Batman in 3. Well, actually, when was the announcement? It was announced at Comic-Con 2014. Was it?
I'm guessing.
I think it was 13. It wasn't that. Actually, it might have been. No, it was announced at 2013 Comic-Con because it was originally due out. No, it wasn't due out in 2015. Hold on.
Hey guys, they totally gonna bang.
I think the casting's brilliant for these two, but I just think that these two have no chemistry at all together.
Do you know who would have made a better Lois Lane?
2013. There was
And a lot of people are going to give me a lot of hate for this, but she kind of does fit the role better than Amy Adams would have, and that's Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah, I could see that. Actually, how old is Zooey Deschanel?
Let me find out.
Because I know that Henry Cavill, I think he gives his age in this as well, is like 33. So
Zooey Deschanel is 36.
Oh, okay.
Good work.
Hey, that'll work.
The Zodmobile.
Kneel before Zod.
Who's Neil?
It is actually cool in this. You know, I think Theoral comes out first, doesn't it? The woman. In Superman 2, Zod did have 2 henchmen with him. I think the woman was called Ursa, and I think Nod or something like that was the big guy. And you do get 2 characters in this that are very similar. I thought she was great in this. I thought she played an awesome bad guy.
Go.
Can you guys still hear me all right? My internet's lagging a bit.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, okay. Okay, this bit now. This bit is... Why does Lois have to go with them? She literally only goes with them so that she can be saved.
Very, very easy and simple. A lot of his interactions on Earth have been with her, and the main connection has been made to her. They've obviously gained that information because they can control all of the electricity on Earth. All of them. They can leave a message on there, so they've obviously got the data from them. They now know that she is the only person who's really interacting with him. Therefore, as a bargaining chip, they now have him, and if things go wrong, they can use her.
They do nothing with her. Literally, it's just for... That's a very good example. That's a very good description, by the way. I've never heard anyone go that angle on it. But it's just, when I watched it, it just seemed like she was there literally for an action beat and for someone to rescue when things go south.
Oh,
because I don't think they ask her any questions or anything like that.
She is a complete hostage. She is the hostage. If things go south, she dies, and that's all they need to know.
Well, why didn't they capture Mark Kent?
Can you guys hear me all right?
Because
yeah, I can hear.
Has any of the interactions made between him and anyone else been via text or anything like that? No. All of his interactions with Mark Kent has been face-to-face. All of his interactions with Amy Adams' character has not. It's been through, like, speaking, communications and stuff like that.
Mm. Okay.
So...
Oh, look at that lens flare reveal of Zod. So gorgeous. Rocking the goatee.
It's pronounced Callum.
Generals to you, peasants.
Never forget the general.
Honest. If I was a general, well, I would never be a general because it's not my thing. But you know, you're a pretty violent person. People moan he destroyed a town. You're not going to fly down and start a war and just say, look at the building and stroke the side of it. No, you're going to fucking fight. You're going to have a death. They basically have a street fight on steroids. When people fight in alleys, no one complains they've been to
Oh, he's coughing up blood. Nope, he's dead. Cool.
It's when he wakes up in the field of skulls.
How artistic. Yes. Let's not stand on ceremony.
Oh no. I love he's just standing there in a t-shirt and Zod's in his, chainmail.
Could you swap him for Bane out in this film and Bane for him in Dark Knight Rises?
Would you
That
mean,
would be
you mean
interesting.
Michael Shannon play Bane and Tom Hardy play...
No, as in, like, Bane being in this film and Zod being in the other one.
Not really. Because Bane punches Batman a few times. If Zod would have punched Batman, they'd be like, dead.
Oh, Chris has dropped out. Oh.
I thought the connection was playing up. Oh, shit, he's host. It's still live though. It says it's live.
Yeah, it's still live. We're still going.
Is it because he hates Man of Steel? He seems to.
I don't know. He really does hate Man of Steel.
He really enjoyed it from what I can see.
Sorry, guys. We are having some technical difficulties. We are still streaming though, so it's all good.
We're gonna have to somehow invite him in.
If you get on that, I'll continue talking about how everything was death, and they went back dressed as Buzz Lightyear.
I don't know how to get Chris in. Wow, tonight took an interesting turn.
What?
We got to find Chris. Man of Steel has destroyed him so much he's left. Oh no, wait! He should be able to go to his homepage and sign in. Oh, Jeremy Irons apparently swore on Radio 2 today.
Swore?
Yeah.
That ain't good.
Lots of politically correct people are crying.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
Hey, we have a Chris back.
My internet dropped out. I just reset my router, so it should be good now. My internet is terrible. Never sign up for TalkTalk. Don't do it. I'm still playing currently at the bit where Superman's in the weird dream sequence interrogation thing, right?
Yeah, the terraforming machine is not really terraforming yet.
Oh, it is now.
Chris, you are sounding very Mr. Roboto. They both chose capes. I'm surprised. Although I do like his outfit, black cape goes well.
Well, where is the codex? Cause like, where's the camera? Everyone hates his voice in Dark Knight Trilogy. I like it.
It's awful.
Batman voice.
Yeah, it's so terrible. I actually thought Batman Begins. I thought he still had...
Chris, you sound like an electronic piano.
Yeah. He sounds like, that...
He's drowning in bones.
Sounds like one of them people out of South Park, that when they put the metal things to him.
Oh, he's awake and he's all strapped down. 50 Shades of Superman, here we come. George, your face. What do you reckon, guys? 50 Shades of Superman.
50 Shades.
Big hit or really bad?
Is my mic better
No.
now?
Does he use gel in this hair, Zod?
Stop.
Do you guys want me to try and redo my router again?
Legit, you sound better now.
Yeah, you were.
Okay. Brilliant.
So, whilst you were gone, we were speaking about 50 Shades of Superman and Zod's hair gel.
Right, okay.
you know, if they're like indestructible and shit, can they gel their hair alright?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, if we're going by the old Superman law, in Superman 4, doesn't he have like a strand of his hair on display in a museum that's supporting like 1,000 kg weight or something?
I haven't seen it.
I think
You
their
know what?
hair's indestructible. Maybe they found it. You know when they said like they salvaged like the world engines and like weapons and stuff. Maybe they found like a stash of hair gel too and just thought, screw it, take that with us. That guy can't use hair gel though. The weird German interrogator guy. Needles.
No, I don't like that. Oh,
What's happened to him?
Wow, they do not know about hospitality at all.
Oh, so
They've never worked in the hospitality business, have they? That is terrible.
Amy Adams in the weird CGI helmet thing.
Well, Zod was chosen for war as their breeder too, and early not retail.
I have to say, they should have taken inspiration. I can't believe I'm saying this. They should have taken inspiration from Prometheus here and had the fishbowl suits because they were actually practical. However, the only two good things to come out of that film was the fishbowl suits and cross-on spaceships.
Yeah. Oh, that's Blast from the Past right there. Was that your first ever review you did with us?
No,
The
my
Prometheus
first ever review was The Martian.
Oh, okay.
Was it Martian? Then it was Prometheus off that. Then it was Spectre on it.
Yeah.
I saw a few, and then I was just like dead. I got so. Assignment was just awful. I still haven't seen like any films that came out like after James Bond.
Jesus.
This is a very weird way to meet your boyfriend's dad.
Yeah, it's like how he appears out of nowhere. There were some great memes on the internet. There's a really, really bad Sherlock Holmes PC game where Watson follows you around. There's got to be some videos on the internet of that. Just type in creepy Watson or something. It's hilarious. Yeah. And it is terrifying.
Now here's something I've always known. How would a spaceship be able to adapt into atmospheres? Surely the engine mechanics and stuff would change and alter.
Kryptonian ships have traversed many worlds and they've figured a way out of it.
I don't know. They say about every film ever.
Ow.
Did he just like crush her to death, or is she like sealed behind the door?
She's stuck behind the door. He's using the Force. And this is like, you know, the human super piece.
I love that interrogator guy there who injected him. He's like properly German. He's like, "We have ways of making you talk, Superman."
Pete's
just like, do you know what? I'm having a normal day at IHOP. It's just, I didn't get many tips today, but it's fine. I can go home. I can have a good life.
Oh, when they get into the street in a minute.
Oh, you murderer!
I love this.
Reporter becomes murderer. What is this?
Does he really need to do the hand thing to close the door, or could he just like think it and it would happen?
It's
like
Chris.
You know,
it's all about the jazz hands beforehand.
In the Inspector, where Mr. White's like they're everywhere, it's actually Russell Crowe in the spaceship. He's got a bit of an eye twitch there.
Now get in this ship that you have no idea how to pilot and expect to land this thing.
Well, that ship should be destroyed now. I got punched.
That does not look like a comfortable way to sit in that thing.
Didn't she just punch a hole in that?
Yeah, I think that's why it breaks, right?
Yeah, but wouldn't that mean that it would be not breathable?
Because we need Superman to save her. Actually, that suit there looks really cool. It actually has
He's
colour
like,
on
"You're right, son. You forgot your lunch."
Oh, it just punches the wall.
Oh no, depressurized! Oh, Tate, you know we mentioned about the Jesus imagery earlier?
No. This bit here.
You can save them, Cal. You can save all of them, apart from the thousands of people you're about to murder. Get ready for the Jesus imagery. Boom, bitch. There we go.
Spell that Ozone music. It's like Ozone coming on.
Then in this bit you needed... You needed the Superman theme. You needed something.
It wouldn't. The Superman theme wouldn't suit it.
Well, no, but the one that's used in the credits for this, that would have worked. That would have worked perfectly.
No.
But it's when you just have like filler music like this that could be overlaid over anything. It just sort of, I don't have that connection to it. I'm just seeing a series of moving images with no
He's like,
consequences.
you're right, babe.
You know, I could just fly underneath this thing and lift it down gently, but no, we need another explosion. Boom.
He always lands pretty close to home, doesn't he?
It's like all of the US is just Kansas.
That moment when you pop in on your mum and you accidentally blow a hole in her shed.
Oh, that shed's about to just get fucked in a moment. Jesus.
Oh, they just pick it up, don't they?
Yeah.
I do love.
I think Zod throws a truck through it or something.
And here's the opening scene to Interstellar.
Yeah.
That was just the thing, though. Even Fan Four Stick did it, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just the Nolan. Well, not with Fan Four Stick, but it's just the Nolan team, isn't it? You can just see it everywhere.
But to be fair to Nolan, he actually planted the entire crop field for Interstellar.
Really? Oh wow, didn't know that.
For Dunkirk, he's demanding to use real tanks, boats, aircrafts, and everything to use less
That sounds good. I like that. They totally get it back.
So we just had an action scene, and it's like, can we have a quiet? But no, straight to another action scene. And practically, when they get to the street fight in a minute, it's non-stop.
I think it's because
action all the way through.
She was like giving him the look then, and he's just like, nah, babe, I'm off. Laters.
But yeah, that's it. That's the only chemistry they have in this movie. It's just like, you're hot, I'm hot, let's bang, and that's it. There's no character or personality or, you know,
isn't that real life
at all.
Oh,
yeah, but Superman isn't meant to be real life.
These guys don't know manners.
It's like God mode on GTA.
Yes.
Actually, I will say that I love that we get to see some new powers from these Kryptonians in this. Like, I love Theora's super jumps, and she uses a dash in the town. It's not that bit yet.
That's the street fight. It's just it's everyone like a.
Yeah, she like zips between everyone really quick in the fist fight. That's awesome.
Aww.
Oh, hang on. Zod's gonna go full Batman in this bit.
Where is she?
Oh, here we go. Collateral damage. There is no need for Superman to do this. Oh! Sorry.
Yes, Superman.
That's just murdered all those factory of workers in that building.
They said no. There would have been no factory workers.
Sorry, all these people in the petrol station. They're all dead too. Sorry about that.
The thing would go like the interiors and everything.
But think about it, entire planet, one person. That's what you're weighing up here.
This is the difference between it. Just seems that Zack Snyder just went really self-indulgent with all the destruction, and that would be fine.
One of the things was mentioned which I've read about this film was. This isn't the first depiction of Superman destroying things. He destroys things in almost every single incarnation that he's done. To mass scale, including Doomsday, the comic, the animated version of Doomsday, where he destroys an entire city. So how can you judge?
But here's the difference. All it would have needed is more shots of Superman saving people. I think the only time they do that is with a helicopter pilot in a minute. In the city, you are seeing skyscraper after skyscraper just fall down into populated streets. The Superman I would know would either look around, assess the damage, and go, you know what, this is not working, I'm going to take this fight into space, or I'm going to take this into a desert somewhere. Yes, it wouldn't be visually interesting, but he wouldn't be getting people caught up in the fight. Or even if like a skyscraper's falling down, like the Superman I would know would like get out of the fight, push the skyscraper back up, weld it back together, and then get back to the fight.
Okay.
Is the Superman you know like this, where he's completely new to this? Because in previous incarnations, he's already had his powers for a many number of years.
Chris looks a bit like Gottye, and now he's just some Superman that he used to know.
Yeah.
It's like that. Oh yeah, this bit now. Get inside. That will totally keep you safe when I'm punching everyone through buildings.
Safer.
Oh. You know what I think it was as well? I don't know whether it was sort of like the same... I guess it was the same studio involved, right? Warner Brothers. But one of the criticisms of Superman Returns was that there was not enough action. It was very, very slow. It was very talky. Not much happened. I'm wondering if that filtered into their decision to just make this an entire action movie.
No, this was Zack Snyder's. Have you not seen? You know.
I just think if you'd have dialed back on some of this action, to be honest, I think you could have just skipped out this entire street fight because you get a huge fight in the city later on anyway. You could have just spent all this time developing the characters more. We could have seen Clark, we could have developed Lois more and just had their interactions, or we could have had some stuff in the Daily Planet or just anything like that.
We've already had bits of the Daily Planet.
Yeah, but not with him actually working there.
Yeah, but it makes sense for him to get a job afterwards.
So we just kind of see this now practically for the rest of the whole film now. We've got another 50 minutes left on this movie.
That's going pretty quick. You seem to be enjoying it.
Are you surprised with how calm I am with this?
Yeah.
I will be honest, my favourite character in this whole movie is Theora. I think she's just awesome.
Pete, look at him.
In the IHOP.
There's Pete.
He goes. Damn, it's him.
But you know what surprises me? Like, I don't see why a film of this magnitude would need that much product placement. Like, I don't know if it's like deals they have to come up with during the production, or
it's like,
if it's a way to get more money. I don't know, but it seems like a film like this really wouldn't need to do that.
You know how much Batman v Superman has to gross to break even?
No. It's like 300, 400?
So it's got 250 mil budget,
Right.
50 mil marketing campaign, and obviously in terms of it will gross billion and a half, but obviously not all the percentage goes to Warner Bros. That goes to the distributors, i.e. like View, Odeon, in America, AMC, stuff like that. It's basically our average is about 50% they actually get of the take-ins.
Mm.
To genuinely break even, they need 800 mil. Batman v Superman. They're gonna get it.
Mm.
Like, that's why Amazing Spider-Man, it made something like 80 mil profit. Something because the marketing campaign was a lot of money, although it was abysmal. Christ, you know, because they weren't advertising Emma Stone's death from the first day. They even released. I remember the worst purchase I've ever seen for a film was Amazing Spider-Man 2. It got the famous comic book cover. Who's dying this week? When Gwen Stacy died, they just put the live-action faces over the top of the comic. It was just awful.
So we've just got Superman just fighting some more, slamming into roads, slamming into buildings.
That's all Superman's doing right now. Freeze him in the street.
I don't know. It's just okay. This shot's cool now. That's cool, but this is it. It's just I feel like I'm watching the end of Transformers right now. I feel like I'm watching any typical action blockbuster. It's just
But this
I'm
is
passively watching this movie. I'm not emotionally invested in anyone, in anything that's going on. I'm just watching action on a screen. Okay, this is the one time we see Superman actually save someone. And that stuff's great. He probably dies in this bit now, but...
we are auto-rotating. Is that even a word? I love this. She just wipes them out. No, it doesn't have no. See, Michael Bay does his action better than this.
Oh, I don't know.
This is great. I just love this bit.
Yeah, this is cool.
It's like
This stuff here. That, I love that.
I forgot what game it was. Did you ever play a game called Heavenly Sword on PS3?
Yes, yeah.
It was just like that, except it's not a chain sword. It's her just punching them.
It's just I would like to be invested in these characters right now.
She also has a cape.
I think she just does this stuff to look cool, you know. Like, there was no need for her to do that super jump onto that car then, but she just, you know, superhero pose.
Yeah.
Superhero landing. No, Superman, don't put him through the train station, please. Please don't. Oh, Superman, no, you didn't need to do that. That's not a knife. This
He's
is a
not gonna
knife.
win that fight.
Her face here is just like, bitch, please.
Oh, this is one where he kamikazes himself at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, they set up for that. Is it just me, or maybe it's just like when I'm watching it on? This looks really grainy.
Green.
No, grainy. Like
Oh,
I don't know if
green.
that. I
Yeah,
don't
there's
know
a
if
film
that's
green.
the desaturation they added onto the movie, but it really doesn't look sharp.
Just remember that the human's doing more destruction right now than he is.
Flying train, pick up the train, Superman! God damn it, no!
Well, he'd have
Oh,
to. I just love the fact that Bruce Wayne is just currently in Metropolis now.
I actually think this scene alone has more explosions than like the last Transformers movie that came out.
All they need is Dinobots.
Yeah.
Zod on a Dinobot. Zodbot.
She dead yet? I can't tell.
No, she's alive.
In the weird dung beetle flying thing.
Star Wars.
It is a bit like it's like those things from The Mummy that get under your skin. Scarabs, is it? Is that what they're called? I can't remember.
Man, they traumatized me when I was younger. Then I saw the penis things from King Kong and was traumatized further.
Oh yeah, the Peter Jackson one.
Poor Andy Serkis.
What's his name in that? Lumpy, was it?
Yeah. And then it just took his head off at the end. He was still trying to swing his arm around. Then they had discount Samuel L. Jackson swinging by with a machine gun.
Being told by the superior that he's hostile.
This would have been a nice scene if it had saved a couple more people.
He did.
You did?
He saved one guy.
2 guys.
But we are going to have to charge you for all the property damages you caused, Superman.
Well, no, because that sets up for the
And
other
then
film.
he has that reaction, he just flies away.
Breaking news, they've released a trailer for the Luke Cage series.
Oh, really?
Yes.
For the
They're
new what?
getting on that Netflix quick. I'm guessing that's coming out next year, right?
The new what series?
Luke Cage. It's another
Okay.
one of those Netflix
Oh,
series
yeah.
that mixes with Daredevil and Jessica Jones. I will have to get on for a reaction video for that then.
You will.
I
I
remember
love her reaction to that bit, by the way, there, where she's just like, nice suit, son. It's like, where
I
the hell did
like
you get that?
it. It goes with your eyes.
She just doesn't ask questions, she's just like, nice suit, son.
How did the dog survive? That's what I'm worrying. Hold on.
Oh, this
How
is
on
like-
earth? Hold on. Whoa. How on earth is the dog alive now?
It's going off Independence Day rules, man.
The dog has got to be old.
I know how to stop them. You punch them into more buildings, Superman.
Snap his
Punch
neck. Oh
Punch
no.
them into... Yeah, right, okay, so... Oh, you're going to say it's a last resort, but... Motherfucker could have just stopped all this shit by just snapping his neck. Just like now.
No,
Just in that last
resort.
minute. Oh. Mein Führer! He can walk! Zod needs all of the lens flares.
Zod's power armor. I would wear it every day for the rest of my life.
He's bringing shoulder pads back.
No, but like you just wear it, you just punch someone in the face, they're gonna die. What like he's on Injustice, so you got the Man of Steel skins, and I just always used to be Zod.
Oh, they are releasing the World Engine. Which
Release
is
the Kraken. Release the World Engine. Release both. Actually, we do kind of get a Kraken-like thing later on with that weird pin tentacle octopus thing that comes out that fights Superman.
The Kraken was amazing. That's one of my favorite villains. Then The Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice soundtrack is now out.
I have to give that a
It's
listen.
for free on Spotify. However, I'm waiting for my vinyl that comes out in 3 days' time.
I think this is this the moment where they mention Superman? It's in this kind of situation. Oh, Aquaman's going to be pissed.
Yeah, he will. There he is.
Yeah, this moment.
Is that machine making the T-Rex noise from Jurassic Park? It's like that dragon sound effect you'd always hear in like 90s kids cartoons.
I would laugh if it came in with the Wilhelm scream.
There is
There is one. Yeah.
It's on the ship, isn't it, when they chuck him off a ship?
Yep. Oh, now we've entered the last scenes of Watchmen.
Yeah, where is Wayne Enterprise Towers?
It's here now. You know what?
I think that's the skyscraper that goes down, isn't it?
I wouldn't be surprised if they re-released Man of Steel right and just stuck a Bruce Wayne like thing in.
It's the satellite, isn't it? Isn't it the satellite dish that he fights Zod on at the end? That was a Wayne Enterprises satellite.
Logo is visible on the satellite dish.
There's a LexCorp truck as well, and the construction site at the end, I think, is a LexCorp one too.
Dead.
That's how I feel right now. We've got another 40 minutes of this shit. Well, actually, I think like 15, 20 minutes of that is credits, but we can talk over that just as we round out. Liquid metal. Engage. I thought, George, I thought you'd got bored and just decided to go on your PS4 or something.
I'm watching off my PS4.
Oh, fair enough.
I was watching Blu-rays off it there. I don't want to press the wrong button. Oh, we have 38 minutes minus credits.
Awesome.
I'm dead.
That's literally the dubstep machine, isn't it? It's like...
Yeah.
I mentioned this on quite a few of my reaction videos, but I thought I'd bring it up now. I'm so done now with blockbuster movies with these kind of world engine mechanic things. It seems like every other movie is doing it now, and I'm so bored of that visual.
Which other films have done it?
It's like Man of Steel, Watchmen did it.
Watchmen did it?
There was Transform. Yeah, there was the machine at the end that like pulled people up and sent the shockwave through the city. There was Transformers 4. X-Men Apocalypse looks like it's doing it too.
Oh, I haven't seen your reaction. Did you like the Apocalypse trailer?
Oh, yeah, I thought it looks awesome. Just give me that movie now. I love me some X-Men.
Think of the third voice for Apocalypse.
Yeah, I noticed that. They've added a lot of sort of bass to it, haven't they? Distorted it a little bit. Sounds better. Definitely sounds a lot better.
Best is the Comic-Con trailer.
Oh, here we go. General Expedition, like a black hole. This is literally all of the dialogue in Dark Knight Rises, which is why I hate both this and that.
No.
You want us to put the thing in the thing so that we can do this thing, Superman? Yes.
Dark Knight Rises doesn't rely on tokenism, though, for characters.
It has a lot more exposition than the other two, though. Just structurally, it's just like, here's a quick 30-second scene with the exposition. Cut, next scene. Do the same again. And, yeah.
I will defend Dark Knight Rises. I'm so tired.
I know you will. We've had many a Facebook debate on that movie.
And I'll defend it. Also, Nolan's anti, this bullshit new cinema thing that Spielberg's behind.
No, I haven't heard of this.
Pay 50. Right, so the guy that founded Napster setting up this, was trying to set up this thing. You buy a box for $150.
Right.
Release date of a film. You get a film and release date as in cinema for $50. You get to watch it at home, and then alongside that, you get 2 free cinema tickets to watch it at cinema at another time.
Fair enough.
Basically, it's going to be the death of cinema, and all the directors are now coming out for and against. So, like Scorsese, Spielberg. There's loads that are for, loads against. Nolan's one of them, but I want to
It won't be the death of cinema because I've had it explained to me. What's going to happen is it's going to be a £50 charge for the box itself, or maybe even slightly more.
50 quid.
Plus
Each film is
£20. You ready for this? £20 per thing. Half of the money will go to the cinemas anyway, so £10 per film. You're just watching it in your own home in your own comfort, and it comes with a free cinema ticket to watch at your local cinema if you wanted to watch it in there as well. It will not be the death of cinema.
It just kills going to the cinema, though, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't, because you're paying double for a service in your own convenience, or you're paying to see it at home at your own convenience and then go to the cinema, because you get given a free cinema ticket.
You get 48 hours there to watch the film.
That may be...
It depends on the film.
Negotiate with that. That's something that is negotiable. Like, negotiable.
For indie films, stuff like High Rise, where for some reason they're deciding not to show it, great. I think it'll help indie films more, but like, you know, I've got an alright telly here, 42 inches. It's 3D, I like it. But I'm going to choose to watch Star Wars at a fucking IMAX screen the size of two double decker.
It works better for films that you're unsure about whether you should see or not.
Yeah. But
You pay a little bit more maybe, and you can go and if you enjoy it enough, you can go see it again in the cinema. If not, you just watch it once.
That sounds like it's going to turn into a direct to Civil War then, by the sounds of it, if loads of them are split on the decision.
Before it started, you can just search it up. It's risky because they said it's going to have anti-piracy software. However, he hasn't given any details on the anti-piracy software. So obviously, the second they get that home recording, perfect 1080p. Then again, you can set up a camera onto your computer, onto your TV screen, and you can probably record it good enough anyway. People
will find a way. They will find a way.
You can set up a camera on a tripod, have it perfect, and it will look like a HD recording at a cinema.
Oh, he's now fighting the actual thing from the Matrix.
Yeah, this is what I mean. So the action's still going on. It hasn't let up. Stuff's. Oh, we're in Top Gun now, apparently, as well.
Highway to
if only that song was in this.
This film
would be 100% better if that song was playing in the scene.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, this is the scene where we're seeing in Batman vs Superman.
No, it's when it crumbles, but that's the Batman vs Superman. It's when the skyscraper falls down. Bruce Wayne runs into the steam.
Is it not a green building? It's one of the ones with green glass, isn't it?
It's just whichever one collapses completely. That's what you're.
Yeah. What I want to know is, I'm going to stand by my thought that was just made up after the fact, the criticism of all the collateral damage. Do you think that was Snyder's and Warner Brothers' plan all along to bring that as a theme into the second one?
No.
Which sets up the feud, or do you think they just looked at the criticism and were very clever of how they could rework it?
They looked at the criticism, they based off there. But at least they looked at the criticism. That's the way I've seen it. What I like is the fact David S. Goyer, they've completely got rid of.
Guys, it is not that building.
No, because he's fighting Zod. He's fighting Zod, isn't he, in the trailer?
Yeah.
They laser through a building and it falls down.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. You sure it isn't that building?
No, it's later on in the film.
Zod, the lasers come out of his eyes and then it collapses after that.
That's just is that the Daily Planet building there? Oh no, because we're in it later on. No, that's just another building.
Come on, Morpheus, I can see your moves bouncing.
One thing I will say about this movie that I do kind of find, I don't think they get the geography of it right. I can never tell of how much of the city is actually being destroyed, because there are moments like this where it looks like the entire city of Metropolis is just level to the ground, and then later on in the film it looks like it's just like a small district.
Metropolis.
We've only ever so far I've counted. We've seen 2 buildings fall down. 2.
But the
Same
world
area.
engine's been going on for a while. That's like a film technique where, although you're not seeing it, you assume it's still carrying on. So that could have like leveled half the city.
No, because whilst they're doing this exposition, which is taking up about half the time, it's taking place at the same time. The conversation that these two are having isn't stopping. It's taking place at exactly the same time.
Mm.
So actually, it's about 10-15 minutes that has been going on so far.
I forgot what I was going to say.
He goes full on Khan here, doesn't he? I will walk over their cold corpses.
That was a great speech, though. The Khan one.
Goodbye, Russell Crowe.
Your contract is over, Russell Crowe. You no longer have to be in this franchise. Your pain is
You
over.
have been terminated.
Can you imagine if Doomsday was controlled by like a USB of Zod?
Superman's still fighting whatever the hell this thing is.
It's the squid thing from Matrix.
It's the squid that didn't appear in Watchmen. This is Snyder giving back to the fans.
It was also
I
interesting.
prefer the ending to the Watchmen film than the Watchmen comics, and I've seen both.
Mm,
It made more sense in the film.
yeah. Oh, I know it's gonna. Oh, the most unintentionally hilarious scene of the whole film is right now. This bit's amazing. We're actually meant to give a shit about these two people. Trapped to the sorry, the woman. This woman has had no character, no development. It's hilarious. I just want to sit back and watch this bit.
Oh wow, the subtitles are great. Lombard and Perry grunting. It's getting closer. Come on, push. Lombard and Perry grunt.
It's just the look of pure panic in her eyes, and it's like Snyder actually thinks I give a shit about this character.
Problem is, though, I'm seeking to the humanity here of Superman in previous films being able to save everyone and turn back time and stuff. And adding that in shows that some people will have to deal without him with their own problems.
Yeah,
And
but what I'm
that's
saying
cool
is
shot.
it's just...
Come on, guys, can we just focus on that shot just there? Beautiful.
It's a beautiful train wreck of a movie. this bit here.
Like unknown. You think I was the one that hated this film compared to you?
No,
So,
this
I
bit
love
has
this bit.
emotion.
But Superman
has
ultimately just destroys the world engine by like punching it hard.
The
Yeah.
music. It's the music here. What
Yeah, but
happens?
This is the thing. The film thinks we give a shit about those characters. If they'd have took time to develop them, actually give them personalities, maybe I would be emotionally invested in this bit and genuinely be on the edge of my seat. But those guys had like maybe 2 lines of dialogue each, you know? So it's like unintentionally hilarious.
How did you find that scene hilarious?
Because it's focusing on these characters that we barely know. They've been in like one scene previous and had no definable characteristics. And it's like, the music's telling me you've got to feel sorry for these characters that are trapped that you've never really met and you don't know. Imagine if that was like a scene in Batman or something and Lucius Fox was trapped under that. You would feel something because you like his character. We've got time to know him. We know that he's fun and that has this connection to Batman.
What about Joffrey in Batman Begins? We felt for his character, and he did nothing in the film.
But we had some setup, and we had some he has family problems. We hear his father shouting and probably abusing his mother.
Yeah,
and we had these 3 characters in the office showing that they were a team. One of them not really working with them, but then he comes and stays to help out.
Where did you get that from? That was never in the movie.
He was an asshole. That one guy who wanted to go.
Great, he was an asshole.
Why
Why should I give a shit about him?
Because he's staying for the first time.
Tell me, what are their personalities? Describe their characters to me, both of them.
Lawrence Fishburne.
What was this? Lumbar and Jenny, go.
Okay, Lawrence Fishburne plays kind of...
No, Lawrence Fishburne, I've got that down. I'm talking about the other 2.
Okay, so she is the one person who, spoke to Lois in the office, yes? She is kind of the friendly kind of character who goes along with whatever happens, and she is scared by this whole thing happening.
I'm sure many other people are too. That's not a characteristic, that's an emotion. I want character. They're just nobody characters. If the film would have took its time and actually got like even the original Superman has other people in the office that we get to know more.
True. However, this film isn't really focusing on the office, is it?
It's not focusing on character at all, and that's what I have a problem with. This is about half hour into this action scene or more, and it's just showing no signs of letting up. This is a real dickish thing that Superman says here. God damn, Superman, just no remorse. No fucking remorse.
Nope, get back in the rubble. Get back in the rubble.
Oh, man. You know what this film is? This whole film is that one scene I had a problem with from Avengers Age of Ultron. It's the Hulkbuster fight, because the collateral damage in that was wildly distracting. It's just that
She's
throughout
like,
this
"No, I'm
whole
out."
movie. Yeah, I think that was cool. It's supposed to go in all the way. That's what she said. I'm telling you, they don't need spaceships, these guys. They could just, like, Incredible Hulk jump off all the skyscrapers in Metropolis. Here we are, Wilhelm.
There's Wilhelm.
Oh, boy. Why is that even still a thing now?
Wilhelm scream is beautiful. Oh, the day that leaves cinema, I'll be devastated.
Was there one in Force Awakens?
I want to know. There wasn't one in Force Awakens. However, there was about 400 in all of the Lord of the Rings. Chris.
No, Wilhelm.
There was, okay, Lord of the Rings, there was one in each of them, and two in the Desolation of Smaug extended cut, which were wildly out of place.
All Wilhelm screams are wildly out of place.
They're beautiful though. They just make films.
Oh, there's the first neck snap in this movie. Okay, so I guess he put the thing in the thing, and now that's going to stop the thing from happening. Oh no, it's not like I can fly super fast and jump out of the ship. I can get out of the ship. Okay, no. No, oh. So I think, was this going to be the original ending, I think, where Superman somehow punches Zod back into the Phantom Zone as all that stuff's happening?
No, because he hadn't fought with Zod yet.
Oh, right, okay, everything's getting pulled up to the sky, right? Even like little bits of rubble. Why is she the only thing falling down? I've never understood that. It's just a scene for Superman to rescue her. So she has again sort of become the damsel in distress character that you mentioned earlier, Tate, which is a shame because they did have a great setup for a character. I mean, I guess you've got to kind of have that. I know we're sort of living in a more gender equal world now, but the whole shot of Superman holding Lois, rescuing her, is a archetype of that character, an integral. Oh, this line. This is hilarious. Yeah, take a look around, lady. I'm not so sure he did. He kind of did, ish.
No, she's right. You are way too critical on the amount of people who are saved in this film compared to the amount of people who may have died. Now, a lot of it is collateral damage, and that is part of the consequences.
Look at it! Look at it!
Yeah, but how much of that did he actually cause? Think about that. Was any of that?
More people have died in London.
He hasn't actually done any damage to the city yet.
More people died in Batman to Bane's attacks than probably in this.
Yeah. All these people have died, but I guess it's time to just, like, kiss each other, right?
Dude, has he actually destroyed any of the city yet?
No, but he's about to. Oh boy, he's about to.
Glorious.
Your point so far as being, oh, look at all the damage that he's caused. He hasn't actually done any of it yet.
But
so we are 23 minutes from the ending plus credits. 23 minutes from the ending plus credits, and he hasn't actually caused any damage yet to the city.
When there is a film that isn't particularly well made, you latch on to a key segment in this. So the example I would go is Fast and Furious 6, which A suffered from the lack of The Rock. However, everyone talks about the 50-mile runway with that film because the whole film in general isn't brilliant, but then you remember that because that's the key aspect of the memorable words. You don't talk about Fast 5 because Fast 5 is genuinely well made. And I'm quoting my lecturer that hates like every good film. He really likes Fast Five because, in all honesty, that film is well directed, well done, character development, all of it. You get none of that in 6. In this, people latch onto the destruction at the end because, in general, that is essentially the most memorable of the average film.
And Chris,
point. And it's just like, you know, it's everyone's jumped onto that bandwagon. That's all people will talk about.
Because it's wildly distracting, like saving people is Superman's thing. That's what he does.
Time, look where the focus is. The focus is not I'm going to save people. He's already saved the day. His focus is look. He's destroying buildings which have already been destroyed. First of all,
look around. He has not saved that day. To take your argument is that just because we haven't seen people die means that people haven't died. Look around, people, thousands. I think the death toll in the next one. I think Bruce Wayne says it in some of the clips that have been released. I think he says thousands.
Yeah,
you
died earlier.
Were any of it his fault?
Couldn't be asked to save them.
No, none of it was his fault.
No, but he could have helped. He's Superman. This is the kind of thing he's meant to stop.
No, the thing. They're trying to get away from the whole trope of Superman can save everything because he can go back in time.
Okay, this shot here, right?
This shot here.
He sees that a skyscraper's fallen, and I believe that's
the skyscraper, right?
That is the skyscraper.
That is the Wayne Tower, right?
That is fallen into a populated street.
If it's got the laser,
Superman could have saved it.
How? He's not in control of where he's thrown.
He could have pushed the building back up. He could have sealed the supports down.
Beaten by him.
He could have pushed that truck up, but no, we need another explosion. It's wildly distracting in this scene. And it goes against the whole concept of Superman's character.
But this is different.
At this moment in time, he is seeing a threat, and he is thinking, if I eliminate the threat, the destruction will end.
I will eliminate the threat by punching him through all the buildings.
But he's not intending to punch through a building.
Has he actually punched him through any buildings yet? Chris, has he punched him through any buildings yet? No.
He hasn't. Intending to punch him.
All this scene needed was more shots of Superman actually going out of his way to try and save some people. And
but why would he? He's in a fight.
But he cares
is damage
about the
limitation
people
right now.
Get ready for it.
Care about the people.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Superman wasn't. Zod was climbing the building, wrecking shit. Superman glided in. He didn't wreck anything.
It's just so self-indulgent on the action. That's all it is.
See, look, he didn't not destroy any buildings there. He destroyed the metal sheet.
Molded by it.
Raised by it.
On a farm. Oh, shots fired, Zod. Shots fired. The camera really awkwardly focuses on this glove here in a minute. Like there. And I always kept thinking if that's going to be a setup somehow for Batman v Superman. It probably isn't, because I think they actually have Zod's corpse from the trailer. But I didn't know. I always thought that Batman might find that tech and that's the material he makes his suit out of.
There's talk of kryptonite as well. So he's not punching through buildings.
Oh, he does in a minute.
Okay.
He grapes him across the side of a skyscraper.
Count the buildings that he has been personally punched through. We're on 0 at the moment for this entire film.
Your arguments, though, are that, Superman's not doing it, so it's fine. But if Superman was actually doing it out of his way to save
to a different... He is now in a different district to before.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
This is the Bruce Wayne one.
That's unnecessary.
How is it necessary? Zod's just trying to kill him. Zod doesn't care. He
didn't need to grate Zod's face over the skyscraper. He really didn't need... Oh, man.
Yeah, but that's not his fault. Look, he can't control it.
Well, he could take the fight into space. Well, they take it into space now.
Yeah.
A space fight would have been cool. I'd have loved that shit. That would have looked awesome. Yeah, there's Wayne Enterprises.
Oh, let's see that Zod destroys that too. He tries to stop it.
Anyway, the biggest mystery is here in a minute how Amy Adams' character is able to teleport from that position to the building.
That's the Batman.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so Superman's actually only pushed him through the glass window. And if you see here, where the family are hidden, there is rubble at the side, and they physically cannot escape there. Look. See all that
Yeah.
rubble?
It's like, run now!
Yeah, but they can't. Look, there
They
is
don't
shots
know what to
themselves
do.
up.
They're
Run!
scared.
Move!
They don't know what's going to happen. They're scared.
So they're just trying to hide in the corner.
But it's not just that, like, Superman could put his hand over Zod's eyes because he's impervious, he could fly back up out the ceiling.
Superman doesn't know that he's can put his hand over his eyes, and he's got it on his
They
neck,
can-
hasn't he? He's got both
They're
hands on.
not trapped.
Yeah, they are. Look, rubble. You can't
Look,
escape
run forward away!
the laser beam.
It was nowhere near them. Now it's too late because they've been dicking around in the corner.
No, I completely disagree with you here, Chris. You're nitpicking so hard.
Okay,
And
right.
that's
We need to talk about this. Go. Next snap.
Zod said earlier, "You die or I do." Done.
Yeah.
I will say that this is
that was building up from the very first thing in this film. The idea that he would have to go and kill one of his own kind. Not only that, but he would have to kill someone who actually wasn't that bad. He did it on his own. Yeah, sure. Zod was a horrible person. However, he did it for the motives of, I've got to save my people somehow. And he was crazed, psychotic, but in his own mind, he was doing right. And I can understand why he's upset here, because obviously now he is like the last of his race left. He's just gone and kind of saved this family, but it's come at the price of like killing basically a member of his family, the only member of his family possibly left. So you can understand now why that would have taken it out on him, especially when he really did not want to do that. He did not want to kill him, he just wanted to contain him. And Zod obviously wanted to kill him, and he was thinking all the way through that fight, I'm going to damage him, I'm going to maim him, I'm going to try and do something. But in the end, he couldn't, and that's the ending of it.
I'm not completely against the next snap. I do understand the criticism against it. I think that the fault for me just lies in the setup for it. I think it was a very easy setup. I think they could have put it in a different situation. It may have worked better. I will say that that last scene previously, when he just yells no, I thought that was some fantastic acting from Cavill. It's never quite explained how Amy Adams' character is able to teleport immediately to that location for that little bit, but I can't fault his acting there. I thought it's really good. My problem lies with this stuff now. I don't think you're talking about the themes there, but I think in these shots now there's not enough. It doesn't seem to me like he's still lingering with that decision. It feels like he was in that scene and now he's just over it. I would have liked to have seen him dealing with that more. Maybe not ending it on such a happy note. No, honestly, I don't.
It always would have been.
Like we get a happy bit there where he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'll serve America, fly," and then the next scene's the
But he mentioned
Daily Planet.
He said convince Washington of that, and that's going to tie into the sequel where they've got all the state stuff.
I would have just liked more of him, not being just like he's still carrying the weight of it, and I just really don't get that sense after that scene. Just if it's brought up in the next one, hey, fantastic. But
we don't know
to
how
me,
many.
just at the end of this, it doesn't.
We don't know how many days have passed since the incident. Could have been 3 hours, could have been 3 weeks.
In the next one, it's 2 years.
No, between the scene of him snapping the neck and him with the general.
This is a very nice scene. I do like this scene.
Proof that this dog has been here forever.
Oh.
I thought if you're going to end it on a flashback, this is a really nice one to sort of type it up. And I will be honest, like when it got to this part of the film, I was starting to smile. Like this scene here, the very, very brief ending at the Daily Planet, I thought was a really, really nice bit. And I just thought, what could have been if this had been throughout the whole movie with a slightly... You could still have your action. Of course, you've got to have your action. It's a superhero blockbuster. But just dial back on it slightly and have more scenes like that. You could have had this stuff. And this is where the theme was kicking in, the main theme. I was seeing the Daily Planet and all this iconic imagery, and I was smiling. I thought, this is what Superman is, and you could have done a modern retelling of it. And unfortunately, because we're not getting another super hit, just pure Superman on his own sequel, I mean, I would have liked to have seen him have a little bit more equilibrium before Batman shows up. And because of that, I think that Batman v Superman is going to be dealing with too much stuff that it won't have time to focus in on developing this more. Because, I mean, this film could have developed it, but it chose to put action at the forefront. I don't know. But I was starting to warm up to the film in this scene, but unfortunately, 2 hours to 10 minutes into
it. It is a modern retelling of superhero films, and they would have gone more action-based instead of story-based. And sometimes it does work better story-based, and I feel like story-based would have worked better here. It's just that saying that you hate the film is very different. And I think hate is an extremely strong word to use for this film. You can say you disliked it, or you didn't.
This is the main theme. This is the theme that should have kicked in every single time Superman came in. It's a great theme.
I can agree with that. However, I can't agree with your views on you hating it. I know that won't change your mind or anything like that, but hate is just such a strong word. I hate Minions because it's a complete cash grab and it had no intentions to ever evoke any emotions. This film at least had the effort to try. Some films don't, and I could say that the Transformers films don't because they are a cash grab in on another franchise. I'm sorry that you like Michael Bay, George, but that's just kind of how it goes. A lot of franchises nowadays are based on cash grabs, but this one actually tried to evoke emotions. It tried to do something different. It may not have ended up as polished as it should have been. However, I feel like the fact that it tried, and in some areas we enjoyed that film. I enjoyed rewatching it again for the second time I'd ever seen it, and yeah, there are flaws of it. I mean, I was critiquing it all the way through. I was joking about some of the scenes. I was joking about some of the things that was taking place. However, the fact that the film was able to kind of do that, and the fact that I think it was Mark Commode put out a video recently where he said a film which evokes arguments and evokes emotions which can either be love or hate is always better than a film that is eternally loved or eternally hated. Because the fact that you can debate films like that gives the idea for film critics and just the general public to have an opinion to exist. Otherwise, we'd be stuck in two categories. The fact that there is an in-between, and especially with this film, where loads of people love it, loads of people hate it, a lot of people are in the middle ground, it just means that the film was good enough to evoke some emotions in some people, some maybe not in others, but the fact that we're arguing about it, we're debating it, and we're talking about it, shows that it is actually a good film in its own right as part of the artistic kind of means for what we should do.
So Phantom Menace, therefore, is one of the greatest movies ever made.
We agreed. Phantom Menace isn't that bad when we did the review of it. Do we all agree on that?
No.
Chris?
No.
You did? We can go back to the review and we can find out.
It had a good moment, and I liked some of the conceptual design. I believe that was it. Everything beyond that, I really didn't care for.
It means that it had ideas that we agreed with. You can't, if you like a couple of scenes, you can't say you outright hate the movie because you've already said that you've liked parts of it. And I know you liked parts of this film, and I know that you would have rechanged them around and stuff.
Okay, this is how I would describe this movie. This is a movie that wants to be smart. It thinks it's smart.
Smiling like you love it.
No, I'm just. Do you want me to just serious face it all? No, it seems like it thinks it's smart. It thinks it's intelligent, and it's telling a great thematic message. But it really isn't more than just your typical Michael Bay style action movie. I watch this movie every time I've watched it. Believe me, I've tried to like it. I really have, because this is setting up for the new DCU, which I don't want to see fail. I want to see it just get to the level that Marvel has. But when I went to see this movie, and even still now, it generates no emotion in me at all. I think that there's too much of a reliance on the action, on the spectacle of it, and there's not enough substance. I think that Zack Snyder thinks that it does have substance, and maybe some of the themes are interesting, like you were bringing up earlier, Tate, about the whole decision of whether Superman has got to let some people die to save, millions of people. but I don't think it follows up on those themes to its fullest potential, and I think it's just hidden under the guise of a loud, dumb, explosion-filled action movie. And it could have been so much more. That's the problem I have with this movie, is that when the trailers were coming out, it looked like it was character focused. It really, really did. And then you see the movie, and it's just a completely different film. And it's, to me, the most depressing thing about this movie is that it's such a waste of potential. Because I know what you say, George, you hate the character of Superman, you think he's bland and boring, but I honestly do think that there are ways that you could have taken this character, modernised him, and made him interesting. And I just don't think that this movie achieved that.
And that's the difference, because I think the movie does make him interesting. He's not this perfect as can be bloke. He's got a lot of internal conflict as such, seen at the end when he kills Zod. It makes it interesting for the future films, makes it interesting for Man of Steel itself, and they add something that just the character has lacked across all forms of media, games, TV, films, comics, all of it. It's one of my necessarily favourite interpretations, because I still don't like the character much, but it makes me remotely interested to see what they do next with it, rather than just rehash the simple he's great, because we know in the next film he's trying to save people and people are questioning him. That's what I prefer, and this is where the Batman aspect comes into play. But in regards to Man of Steel as a film itself, it's not perfect. It's very watchable. And I've always agreed in the sense that people that latch onto the destruction porn, this is a military general coming to a new planet. When we go over to fucking Syria, we bomb the shit out of it. So America do what England do, what Russia do. They don't look at the building and say that's nice, we'll keep it. They flatten it, and that's doing it to different countries is no different to doing it to different planets. That's the way I've seen it. I think that's a realistic interpretation of what would happen if a military species intended on coming to Earth for. And again, he saves the whole planet by wiping out the terraformer. A lot of people died, but it's the kind of that same argument that would you save one life over a million? Just that, but it's I like the film.
I would never have thought this, but Man of Steel truly is one of the most divided films I can think of just in history. It really is. What I'm interested to see is with Batman v Superman. My thoughts on this film alone won't change, but some of the criticism I've had with the whole collateral damage aspect, which will still be present in this film, but because it's being worked into the themes and the story of Batman v Superman, and I really hope that Batman v Superman is fantastic and it sort of rights the wrongs of this movie, but it will be interesting to then go back to this one and see if the whole plot of Batman v Superman does influence this one at all, because I think it will do. We've discussed earlier that we don't think that was originally the intention of it, that they probably looked at the criticisms, but it's good that if they are looking at the criticisms and they are trying to change that going forward. We've seen in the trailer some shots of Superman actually saving people, so that's nice. We've seen that they're referencing the collateral damage, and that's similar to what Civil War's doing as well, where they're looking at the news footage of the first Avengers and the second Avengers, and they're saying that you can't contain this, this is why we need to turn you in. So it's strange how both of those films are coming out around the same time. They have very similar themes, but as a standalone film, as this one, I don't see my opinions on it changing. I just needed a bit more levity. I'm not talking slapstick comedy. Batman Begins and Dark Knight had comedic moments, and it just makes the viewing experience more fun. This was just dull to me. This was a nothing movie. I had no emotions were sparked in me during all of this movie. It's just a switch your brain off film, and I think that Superman deserved a lot more than that.
This is by far not in my favorite superhero movies. However, I feel like you're being way too hard on this right now, and I feel like it's almost the kind of same response that you're giving to Star Wars Episode 7, which was universally liked. Only a handful of people didn't like it, and they had their own reasons for it, but they wouldn't say that they outright hated it, because they enjoyed some elements of it. If you can enjoy a certain element of a film, then you really do need to rephrase the word hate. And that's.
But I didn't in Force Awakens. BB-8, that was it. I liked one character in that movie.
So you
There you
didn't.
go.
Seriously.
You liked part of the film. How can you like something that you hate?
Wait, well, you look at it for
Han
the
Solo?
whole as a whole, don't you?
You like Han Solo?
No, I said in my review he didn't feel like the classic Han Solo to me. I felt nothing when he died. If I feel nothing during a movie emotionally, or if I'm not invested in any way, I don't see why I should like that movie. You know?
Hmm.
The problems I had with Force Awakens are different kind of problems to what I had with this. Force Awakens was more the whole rehash and semi remake of A New Hope and not trying as much new stuff. Didn't really care about any of the characters in it. This was, it had the themes there, it had the ingredients to make it good, but I think with a better director, this could have been just something entirely different. This could have like hit the Dark Knight level hype, in my opinion.
I'd say this film could have been. You can't base this film's disappointment off disappointment, basically. You cannot mark this film down for having a lot of hype behind it at the start, because if this was like a smaller budget film or a smaller superhero, then we would have been raving about it. The fact that it is Superman is really carrying a lot of, I'd say, beef from you, yeah. But I have to say, like, this film could have been absolutely incredible. It really could. It could have been one of the greatest films of all time if it had stuck to that simplistic route based on characters. And I feel like it did go away with the action in some points. However, I would justify it because those scenes which we treasured in the film really did pay off quite well. And if we're going on opinions here, I don't see this film turning up on many people's hated film lists or worst film lists. What I do see is real bad superhero films which you should hate, and this one shouldn't be placed on there. And if this live stream is just kind of discussing whether this film is good or bad, or whether we should be looking forward to like the next film or not, the next film does look stupendously action heavy, and you're already looking forward to it. So I'm wondering what your reasoning is behind that.
And one thing I want to say, this is more Dark Knight Rises debate. You've spoken a lot about how you prefer Batman and Robin to Dark Knight Rises, and you've said that many times.
Yeah.
But Batman's one of your favourite characters of all time, and it's downright disgusting what they do with the characters that have been established over time, especially coming off the back of the Burton ones, which you're a big fan of.
Oh yeah, yeah. My opinion on that. Oh, go on, sorry.
Surely you would epitomise and hate that film so much when they've almost rewrote a character into a parody of itself.
No, because that's the thing. It goes into being a parody.
Because they've tried similar stuff. They've differentiated him from what Superman is, whereas that Batman film takes Superman away from what he is and is renowned as. That's the way
Well, no, like my thought on Batman and Robin really quickly is that that's just a farce. It's just hilariously entertaining to watch. It's absolutely a guilty pleasure movie. By no means is it a good movie. It's just entertaining as hell to watch, which is more than I can say for Dark Knight Rises. That's just, I could think of nothing worse than watching that movie again. It's just, I get no sense of anything out of that movie. Not to mention it also destroys the character. Batman and Robin does it in a different way because it's almost like a 90s version of the 60s cartoon. So they're very, very different films. To your point, Tate, with the Batman v Superman has a lot of action, I haven't denied that. And one of my biggest problems that might come to fruition with that movie is that it's too busy. There is too much going on. The ending, which is probably going to be Doomsday based on the trailer 2, looks very much like the ending to this, a lot of destruction. The only thing that has going for it is that I'm hoping that we get a bit more with Superman's character. Whether we will or not, I don't know. Big push for me.
I'm going to tell you now. Like, we obviously haven't seen this film yet, and it's coming out next week.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking at the trailers here, you're going to get no more in the Superman character than you were in this film. And this film will, if you don't like this film, Batman vs Superman will look like the worst film of all time in comparison to this film, and you'll think Man of Steel is the new Godfather. And we've seen the trailers at the moment, and from the trailers for Man of Steel, it was all about the exposition, maybe a tiny bit of action in there. Every single trailer so far for Batman vs Superman has been only action. only action. And I
Yeah.
think that it will be an only action film. Now, only action can be done right. I mean, George Miller with Mad Max Fury Road last year, if put in context right, it can be good. However, this one's going to be extremely CGI heavy based. I think all of the fight scenes involving Batman and Superman will be CGI'd, and I know that all of the fight scenes in this one were CGI'd as well. However, it did have a little more grounded feel to it. Next film, no chance, because Superman would have developed his powers a bit more. The laser eyes are going to be used at every opportunity. Like Wonder Woman's shield will be used to block off destruction, and that will all be CGI'd. And Batman will be swinging in and doing his thing. That will all be CGI'd. It's just going to be a CGI-heavy bloodbath, and it's going to make this film look amazing. And I'm not sure whether your opinion on this film will change once you've seen Batman vs Superman. But if it does go in that direction, all I want to say is, I told you so.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you on that. You know, I bring up CGI all the goddamn time, and there were moments in Man of Steel where things did look very plasticky. Maybe it's because, for what we've seen, it looks like more environments are CGI in this one, perhaps, and not using like a real town or anything like that. I think ultimately, and I can't speak for myself in a week's time, I may come out loving it, I may just hate it all, but what I'm thinking at the minute, if I'm going to give a prediction, is that I will hate everything that's sort of like the Man of Steel side of things to all the side characters from this and the Superman character, but I actually think that they have done Batman right on the big screen completely for the first time. Everything involving that looks flawless at the minute, and I hope that's the case. But well, I want it all to be good, but I think, and that's not just my Batman bias, I do think that they've taken things, some aspects from the Nolan things, but they've also gone really comic booky with it, and that's what I like about it. I can see that we're all dead set in our ways on Man of Steel, but it's going to be really interesting to see if our opinions have changed or what's been built up from with Batman v Superman. We should say, though, Tate, you won't actually be joining us for that review because you're away.
No, I am.
So this is actually
I may actually completely miss the film, which is not good.
So what we're going to have to do is I will be doing a review with you, George. We might have Tom on it as well if he can make it. But we will have a conversation with you because following this, I think we need to. We all have very strong opinions. So, George, if you wanted to jump back in one so all three of us can do one, like a sort of secondary one to get Tate's opinion, we can definitely do that. But I think we should round out now because we've been watching this film for a very, very long time. We've had some great debate. I don't know whether it definitely got a lot more heated at the end. I think it was like the slow build. I think we're building up to it. But no, this was a lot of fun and there's definitely a lot of stuff to say on this movie. So for those of you watching, we hope you really, really enjoyed our live stream. Be sure to comment, subscribe, let us know what you think of Man of Steel, and start the war in the comments below. There are a lot more reviews coming. We'll have Zootopia, we'll have 10 Cloverfield Lane, and obviously the big one next week, Batman v Superman, as well as the secondary one that we're going to be doing with Tate. Lots more films coming out this year, so do hit that subscribe button and keep updated with all of our stuff. So that will do it for our live stream tonight. Thank you everyone for watching, and until the next video, we'll see you next time.